night, the Redbirds muscled up on Houston pitching. Everyone got in on the act. 4 St. Louis long balls accounted for 7 runs in the end of Tim Redding. Now the Astros turn to their ace to salvage a win. Roy Oswalt dominated the Brewers in his last start and hopes to repeat that performance and deal the Cards a loss. It's time for the Astros to snap out of their slumber. Let's jump to Game 3 here on Fox Sports Net. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Net brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's Game 3 of a series between the Houston Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals. Bill Brown and Larry Dirk with you. The Astros travel to snowy Colorado after this game. The Cardinals head on to Milwaukee, but each club has made hay in the other club's ballpark, and the Cardinals really continue to play well here.
Yeah, the Cardinals haven't lost a game on the road yet this year, and the Astros have only lost 1. Both teams have not done as well as in their own home park, but as you can see, going back even further, this confrontation between these two central clubs has been very, very close for quite some time.
As a result, the standings are all jumbled together in the NL Central, so this game may help to create a little bit of separation. We'll find out as Roy Oswalt takes the mound next, coming off a 3-hit shutout of Milwaukee against Jason Marquis. Baseball a moment away. Tonight's Houston Astros baseball game on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Bush, by your Texas Ford dealers, by the Progressive Insurance Group, by Gatorade, and by Southwest Airlines. Roy Oswalt on the mound, hands on hips, and the home plate umpire Tim Welke is alongside talking with him. It might be about well, what would your guess be here? He's got the sleeve on the right side and no sleeve on the left side. So apparently they're going to have him roll up that sleeve on his right arm, Larry.
Well, apparently they are. Seems like a nitpicky thing to do, but then, you know, Tony probably figures he might get a psychological advantage by forcing that. If Roy throws the way he did last time, it won't help at all.
Well, Tony La Russa's club feeling spunky, going for a sweep of this 3-game series, is 8-7. Here's his starting lineup, and it's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Marlon Anderson leads it off at second base. Tony Womack was scratched before the game last night, his right elbow bothering him, and Anderson responded with a homer and a single. Ray Langford is hitting second and left field. It's Albert Pujols at first base. Jim Edmonds, the cleanup man, is the center fielder. Scott Rowland on the 11-game hitting streak is playing third base with Edgar Renteria at shortstop. Reggie Sanders on a 5-game hitting streak in right field. Mike Matheny's the catcher for Jason Marquis. Now Jimmy Williams is going to come out and join in this discussion as Oswalt gets set to go to work. Here's his scouting report brought to you by Rico.
Well, that 4-seam fastball is the one that he gets a lot of strikeouts with upstairs. And I don't think he really throws a hard curve, but he throws some a little bit harder than others. He won't be intimidated, and he's not really an intimidator either. He doesn't throw a pitch inside all that much. But the deception in that curveball is great, because it's not the sharpest curveball in the world, but when he comes off the mound, he looks like he's going to throw a fastball about 95 miles an hour, and then the ball comes out of his hand real slow. It's got a changeup effect in that way, and because it has the spin to take it down, it can be either a strikeout pitch or a ground ball pitch for him.
The defensive alignment for the Astros is brought to you by Honda. Adam Everett made his first error of the season last night at shortstop. He's joined on the left side of the infield by Mike Lamb. Morgan Ensberg getting another night of rest. It's Jeff Kent and Jeff Bagwell on the right side of the infield. Raul Chavez is the personal catcher for Roy Oswalt. In the outfield, it's Lance Berkman in left, Craig Biggio in center, Richard Hidalgo in right. And Oswalt was certainly unflappable that last time out. Now on the first pitch, there's a grounder to Bagwell. And Marlon Anderson is out number 1.
I can't believe he got that guy out with his sleeve rolled up.
Well, you can understand why Tony La Russa and his club would resort to some gamesmanship right here. The way Oswalt threw the ball last time and beating Milwaukee 2-0, giving up 3 singles, facing 1 man over the minimum with no walks and 10 strikeouts.
Finished it up in less than 2 hours.
Now it's Ray Langford. Langford at 385 has hit his 3rd home run of the season in this series. He had been out for about a week with a leg injury, and there's strike one to Langford. He went deep last night in the first inning to left field off Tim Redding. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. There was an icy rain falling at Coors Field in Colorado. That game was shortened to 6.5 innings. Colorado beat Los Angeles 7-1. That's the Astros' next destination tonight. Cleared foul, 1 and 2, but there is a big front moving in. Snow is anticipated tonight in Denver, maybe 6 inches or more.
Well, if you get snowed out, you can go skiing.
Okay, right there downtown, cross-country skiing. Strike 3 call, and Langford is back to the bench on out number 2.
Well, he certainly got a good look at all of Roy's pitches. He threw the first pitch a fastball low and away for a strike. And then the second pitch, he threw a changeup and missed. Then he came up and in for a foul ball. Then he threw him a curveball.
With a 2-0 record, his ERA is 2.42 for his first 3 starts. One of them a complete game. Albert Pujols next. Strike 1. Pujols is on a 6-game hitting streak. 298, 6 homers, 15 runs batted in. He had a double and a walk last night and scored a couple of runs.
Just 2 for 8 in the series, but as with most good hitters, they do a lot of damage even when they only get a few hits, because the 2 hits were a home run and a double. And one thing that's amazing about this guy is he's a true power hitter. He's only struck out once this year. Every year his strikeouts have come down and his walks have gone up. He's getting better.
It's 1 ball, 1 strike. And Lance Berkman was saying tonight around the batting cage that Pujols struck out in his first at bat of the season. Off-speed pitch makes it 2 balls and a strike. 298 average, 423 on base, 719 slugging percentage. An OPS of over 1100. It's 3-1 to Pujols. He's a 320 career hitter against Roy Oswalt.
Well, you have to decide whether you're going to try to make a real good pitch and take a chance on walking him or try to get him out.
He walks with 2 down, bringing up Jim Edmonds. It is another gorgeous night in Houston. Again, breezy, 78 degrees, humidity 79%, winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and mostly sunny is our forecast.
Edmonds has been a real terror in this ballpark. He has not swung the bat all that well in this series. 1 for 9, but that one was a grand slam home run.
Came last night off a Ricky Stone changeup, the 5th slam of his career. There's strike 1 to Edmonds.
Edmonds, unlike the Pujols, has been striking out this year. He struck out 17 times already.
He takes strike 2. Edmonds has a 367 career batting average at Minute Maid Park. 8 homers, 23 runs batted in 34 games. That's the highest batting average of any opponent here in this ballpark. And he also has 44 hits. That's the most by any opponent. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Oswalt in his career is 2-2 against the Redbirds. He has started 8 games against them with a 3.61 ERA. Out of play, left field side.
Well, they got to him a little bit early, but the last few games he's pitched against him have been typical Roy Oswalt games.
There's the home plate umpire, Tim Welke, with Jim Reynolds, Gary Cederstrom, and Andy Fletcher on the bases tonight. The Cardinals with an excellent record in this ballpark of 18-7. Go for a sweep. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Astros lost the first 2 games of the season, you'll recall, against the Giants here. Then they won the 3rd game of that series behind Roger Clemens. And then they won 3 consecutive series until losing the first 2 of this one. A strikeout for Oswalt takes care of the Cardinal first inning. And it's no runs, no hits. A walk and a man stranded. It's 0-0. Enjoying this evening, and now here's the starting lineup for the Astros, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Craig Biggio leads it off. He's followed by Adam Everett at shortstop, Jeff Bagwell at first base, Jeff Kentz at second base, the cleanup man. With Lance Berkman in left field, Richard Hidalgo in right field, Mike Lamb at third base, getting his second straight start. Raul Chavez is the catcher for Roy Oswalt. And the right-hander Jason Marquis on the mound. Here's the report on him, brought to you by Rico.
This is a pretty hard thrower. The Braves have thought highly of him, but they thought even better of J.D. Drew, and so a trade was made. He hasn't done that well at the big league level yet, but most of the scouts think he can.
Craig Biggio faces him to get the home first inning started. And there's strike one for Marquis. He's working on a change of speeds and has thrown the changeup effectively this year. .339 for Biggio with 2 homers and 13 runs batted in. 1 for 10 in this series. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marquis has been a hard thrower. He's 25 years old, but now working more on his finesse game. Going back to spring training this year, putting on the new uniform. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Hard sinker there. Kind of stuff that Morris was throwing last night. I wonder if Dave Duncan has become an advocate of the sinker.
Well,
he's their pitching coach.
Yeah, Morris was very effective last night. And Biggio strikes out. Chase that breaking ball outside.
He hasn't been chasing as much this year without the leg kick, but that was definitely not a good pitch to swing at. With 2 strikes, you feel like you have to defend against anything close, because if it's just an inch or 2 off the corner, the umpire might call it a strike, but that was more than an inch or 2 there.
Corner infielders in tight for Adam Everett. There's strike 1. A Marquis fastball at 94 miles per hour over the outside corner to a .328 hitter with 1 homer and 5 runs batted in. Tight slider works for an 0-2 count now for Marquis. Marquis coming off a win Saturday over the Colorado Rockies, 13-4, in which he allowed 8 hits and 3 runs in 7 innings. His ERA, his last 2 starts, is 2.77. Ray King, who finished the game last night, as you see Everett's numbers, was also a principal in that trade involving Marquis for J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So King's in the bullpen, Marquis in the rotation, but another pitcher, Adam Wainwright, is at AAA Memphis, and he might be the best of the bunch obtained by the Cardinals in that trade with the Atlanta Braves. He's off to a very good start at AAA. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Marrero has got a lot of athletic ability. The Cardinals used him as a catcher early in his career. That's the way he came up, but then they weren't as happy with his receiving as they would like to be. They got Matheny and started playing Marrero in the outfield. He's a guy that can really run. And so as the Astros did with Biggio, I think the Cardinals felt like if they took him out from behind the plate, he would be able to use his speed more. And so he is a guy with a lot of talent, and of course J.D. Drew is too, so they better have some good players on their side of that deal.
Renteria glides to his left, throws to Pujols for out number 2. Cardinals are an excellent defensive team. Their alignment is brought to you by Honda. They have gold gloves on the left side of the infield with Scott Rowland at third and Edgar Renteria at shortstop. Marlon Anderson's at second and Albert Pujols at first tonight. Mike Matheny won his second gold glove last year. He's a catcher for Jason Marquis. With Ray Langford in left field, Jim Edmonds in center, and Reggie Sanders in right.
Well, Marlon Anderson was a second baseman with the Phillies. I guess he played some outfield.
Strike to Jeff Bagwell.
Boy, this guy is really, I can't believe he's calling some of the pitches he's called already. That's the only thing you can say if you're Bagwell is at least it wasn't strike 3.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeff at .382 has 5 homers and 15 runs batted in. He hit his 5th last night.
Marquis with a smart pitch to follow. It was the same exact pitch, and he said, well, if he's going to call that a strike, maybe Bagwell will swing at it, and if he does, he'll probably make an out.
It's 2-1 to Jeff. He's on a 4-game hitting streak right now. He's tied for first in the National League in runs scored with 17. Tied for second in walks with 14. Marquis falls behind Bagwell. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Biggio and Bagwell continue to hit the way they have in the early going. Got to try to vote them onto the All-Star team because the game is going to be here, and they'll never get another chance to play in an All-Star game at home.
Bagwell fouls at 3-2. Yeah, Roger Clemens was urging all the fans to do exactly that yesterday at the press conference here. And that's quite a thought from the Rocket. We'll show you his special cap that's coming out. We have one of those up in the booth. We'll get to that a little bit later. Very nice looking cap. He was urging voting Biggio and Bagwell into that lineup. Renteria gobbles it up, and it's a 1-2-3 first for Marquis. It's 0-0. It's 0-0 after a quick first. Coming up later on our Dodge Grab Life by the Horns feature, we'll be asking Jeff Kent about his ultimate goal in his baseball career. Stay tuned to see his answer. Scott Rowland is a torrid hitter. He leads it off in the second inning. Oh, that's a tough pitch.
There's that spot. You know, somebody might have run up and looked at the video and come back and told Roy he's really calling that low and away pitch.
Why not go for it? 387, 8 homers, 25 runs batted in for Rowland. Pulls that one foul. It's 0-2. Rowland leads the majors in runs batted in. And during his 11-game hitting streak, he's hit .413 with 7 homers and 21 RBIs. Just an amazing start for the former Philly. And he protects the plate there to keep the count at 0-2. There are the RBI leaders in the National League.
To get Doggy going. He's been a couple of days without an RBI.
Yeah, it seems like a major slump the way he's been hitting this year. On the breaking pitch, he waited back. And boy, you look at hitters like Rowland, Pujols, Jim Edmonds. They just all seem to wait back on the off-speed stuff and at least foul it off during the last few games.
You can wait on a curveball that slow. It's hard to hit a fastball as fast as he can throw it.
Ooh, and there it was.
And it was right on the hands. That was the pitch I thought he would throw. And I think if he had gotten it down just a little bit lower, he would have had a called strikeout.
Strike 3. Why not go for that spot?
That umpire is going to get his full share of criticism from both dugouts if he keeps calling that pitch a strike.
Pitchers aren't going to mind one bit the way this game has started.
I know there are camera angles, and the center field camera is not exactly behind the pitcher, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see the pitch. And so if it's pretty close, you know, you figure it could just be the angle of the camera. But sometimes you'll see pitches that it just seems like no matter what the angle of the camera is, it can't be a strike. Or in some cases, pitches that are right down the middle, and no matter what the angle, it couldn't be a ball.
Time called, and Renteria. Tim Welke started to get down, but he had put his hand up, acknowledging the timeout asked for by Renteria.
Yeah, the umpire does not have to give the hitter timeout. And so he could conceivably have not done that. Roy could have thrown the pitch, and Renteria wouldn't have been ready for it. Now you can see how late he called time.
Yeah.
And a lot of hitters now, when they call time, they'll hold the bat with the bottom hand, and they'll call time to the umpire, but they won't get out of their hitting stance in case he doesn't give it to them. They can put the hand back on the bat and be ready to hit.
Oswalt shoots for that spot again. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Renteria, a .333 hitter, has 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. He's on a 4-game hitting streak. Everett to his left. Retires the opposing shortstop. 2 outs. And Reggie Sanders will follow. Cardinals lead the majors in runs scored with 106 in 15 games. They also lead the National League in slugging percentage at .585 as a team. Reggie Sanders, .339, has 6 homers, 17 runs batted in, 4 hits in this series, 2 of them long balls.
And not only do they lead in most of the power departments, they also lead in stolen bases. This is a team that will stay in the race as long as their pitching will let them. And so far, they don't have a good team ERA at all, and they're still 8-7.
Strike. Well, the Cardinals once again are trying to slow down Roy Oswalt. They're trying any tactic they can think of tonight to disrupt him. Stepping out, asking for time. He works very quickly, as you know. One ball and one strike to Sanders. What a nice start for Reggie Sanders with his 7th team in 7 years. And he's played well throughout that period of time. And the third, Mike Lamb to a stretching Bagwell. Cardinals down in order in the second, and it's 0-0.
No score here so far. Tonight on the Southwest Sports Report, you're going to see a lot of sports. Highlights from round one of the Shell Houston Open. A resident Texan, the clubhouse leader, Rod Tampling from Flower Mound. The Supreme Court rules against Maurice Clarett and the underclassmen. A wrap-up of our game here against the Cardinals. All of that tonight and more on the Southwest Sports Report immediately following the game with John Radigan and Rick Renner.
A jam-packed show for those gentlemen. Here's Jason Marquis, who had a 1-2-3 first facing Jeff Kent. And it's strike one here in the bottom of the second with no score. Kent at 288 has a couple of homers. He's driven in 11 with 3 hits in this series. Had a couple of good at bats the last 2 times up last night. The singles to left field in the 6th and 8th innings. You were talking about that, Larry.
Yeah, for a guy that looks like he's not in a good groove with the bat, he's hitting 288. It's not exactly like he's in a terrible slump, but he can swing better than he's been swinging so far this year.
Goes for a low pitch, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
One thing Marquis has likely been schooled in over and over is hitting that outside corner. That's really the foundation for everything Leo Mazzilli teaches in Atlanta.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
And most of the Braves pitchers over the years have pitched primarily low and away. Got a pretty good chance of keeping the ball in the ballpark that way. There are some hitters that can hit that pitch out to the opposite field, but it's very difficult to pull it.
Jason did not win a game in the major leagues last year with Atlanta. He was in the bullpen most of the time, had just 2 starts with the Braves. But at AAA Richmond, he was 8-4. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That's an oddity about this 5-man Cardinal rotation. Chris Carpenter missed all of last season with surgery. He didn't win a game in the majors, nor did Marquis. 2 of their 5 starters winless last year. Kent goes down on the foul ball off his foot.
I can't remember. One of our pitchers, when I was managing, got traded to the Braves, and when we saw him the next time, he said, "I'm really having trouble adjusting over here because they want me to pitch low and away, low and away, low and away, and I've always pitched both in and out, and it seems like they get upset with me every time I throw a pitch inside."
Well, that's hard to believe. Well, certainly we've seen Tom Glavine do that for years, as you pointed out.
You know, Maddox comes in once in a while, but he mostly pitches away.
Right. And of course, things have changed a little bit with the umpires. They used to allow the catcher to set up outside the catcher's box, but that's not been happening the last few years.
That's because there is no catcher's box anymore.
Renteria to his left. Makes the play to get Kent.
Renteria's getting a lot of work here in the early going. Last 3 hitters.
Our Jack-in-the-Box standings come your way now, and the St. Louis Cardinals are forcing their way back up. Meanwhile, in the West, where the Astros are headed next, it's the Dodgers at 10-5. San Diego at 9-7, a surprise to some. Colorado 7-8. The Giants 6-10, and Arizona a sluggish 5-10 start. Lance Berkman is next at 280. He has 3 homers and 15 runs batted in, and Lance was saying he was thinking that the Central Division was going to be closer this year, top to bottom, than a lot of people thought this winter, when it was Cubs, Astros, Cubs, Astros, Astros, Cubs, Astros, Cubs. And now it looks as if the Cardinals might have some staying power, and maybe even Cincinnati. A shot into center field. And Lance thinks it will be a tighter division from top to bottom.
I think it probably will be. I think the Brewers have improved their team by trading Richie Sexson. They've lost their best power hitter, but they've gained more depth. And, you know, they may fall back, but they probably won't fall back as far as they did last year. Cubs should be pretty good. Astros and Cardinals, same way. I think a lot of people overlook the Cardinals during the offseason because the Astros improved their rotation so much, and the Cubs already had a good rotation and then got Maddox.
Richard Hidalgo lifts it on the right side of the infield. Marlon Anderson over. 2 outs.
Of course, the Cubs also got Derek Lee, so they improved their power and their defense at first base. The Astros have been one of the top scoring teams in the league for the last 4 or 5 years, so when they added pitching, it made them look like a bona fide contender. And of course, they were last year. They only finished a game out, and the Cardinals only finished a couple of games behind them.
Now Mike Lamb making his 5th start of the season. Checks in at .333 with 2 homers. He hit number 2 last night. 5 runs batted in. Strike 1 to Lamb. Morgan Innsberg took some extra batting practice before the game tonight, and that was part of the reason Jimmy Williams wanted to give Mike Lamb another start, so Morgan could get in that work before the game, not have to worry about saving a lot of energy for the ball game. No balls, 2 strikes.
Earlier today, Mike Lamb hit one in batting practice, and it was just barely fair.
Wedge between
I heard that they were going to ask you to go up there and get that out of there after the game, Bill.
All right, good. Let's go for it. Get some repelling gear. Mike Lamb fouls it, but Lamb has looked very good as a hitter, so it's a chance to accomplish 2 objectives for Jimmy Williams tonight. Stay with the guy who's been kind of a hot hand, and he's had hits in all 4 of his previous starts, and also give Morgan a chance to work a little bit more offensively before the game.
And sometimes it helps for a hitter or a pitcher if you have been in a slump to just step back and not play for a little while and then start over, get a fresh start.
And another point to be made is that left-handed hitters are hitting .364 against Marquee. And all 3 of the home runs he has allowed have been to left-handed hitters. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, he's been pitching inside to Lamb, so maybe it's not that he is going to pitch low and away to all hitters, but pitch to that particular corner to all hitters.
Half foul by Lamb.
That time he went away.
Marquis with the changeup that time. He's had only 1 start in his career against the Astros. That was here in Houston in August of 2002 against Kirk Saarloos, and he lost that game 8-5. He was in for 3 innings, allowing 8 hits and 5 runs, including a Jeff Blum homer.
Well, Jeff Blum won't hit a home run off him tonight.
Little chop to Pujols, and he picks it up on the short hop, tags out Lamb. In the 2nd inning, it's no runs a hit and a runner stranded for the Astros. 0-0 after 2. 0-0 game after 2. Let's take a look at Roy Oswalt and his motion, Larry.
A couple of the things that make him so tough, he can hit that spot low and away, and you can make a lot of money doing that. Then he throws this curveball, looks like a high fastball, and the hitter realizes that it's not too late, as he could throw the ball by you upstairs. You try to make yourself not swing at that high fastball, and then he throws a curve. If you think it's a high fastball, it drops back in for a called strike.
Strike 1 to Mike Matheny at .300. He has 1 homer and 5 runs batted in. He was 0 for 5 last night. Everybody else in the Cardinals starting lineup had at least 1 hit. It's 0-2 to Mike. He's been a good April hitter. 14 career home runs for Mike in the month of April. And he's hit 46 career homers, period, in 10 years. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Good defensive catcher like Osmus, but a guy that's usually hit down in the lineup and maybe get 45, 50, 55 RBIs, something like that.
2 balls and 2 strikes. I think the way most people would look at a guy like Mike Matheny or Brad Ausmus says, hey, they're so good defensively, anything they give us offensively is a bonus.
That's the way you feel about your catcher and your shortstop, and sometimes your center fielder too.
Liner to Kent.
Of course, what you'd like to do is have players that play the fielding positions where you don't expect offense give you the bonus of offense, and there are a lot of shortstops that do that these days, and a few center fielders, but there aren't many catchers anymore. Javi Lopez comes to mind, but there aren't many catchers that are big hitters in the game today. Bud Rodriguez, of course, pretty good.
Jason Marquis with a pop-up, broken bat. Biggio hustling in. Adam Everett out. What a play by Biggio.
That was incredible. Not only that he caught it, but that they didn't run into each other. And you have to be thankful for that, because they were going full speed and somebody could have really gotten hurt. Now Biggio's calling for it at the last minute. Everett cuts to the side. Good thing he's got the quick feet to get out of the way here.
So close. Biggio got his head down, fortunately. Otherwise, it might have made contact with Everett's knee. That play happened a few days ago in an American League game, and it was ugly.
Of course, one of the reasons Biggio was able to come in and make that play is the pitcher was hitting and he wasn't playing as deep as he normally does. It's hard to catch those shallow fly balls in this ballpark against most hitters because you're playing so far back.
Marlon Anderson looks at ball one. Anderson has seen a lot of playing time for La Russa, some of it in left field, but now Langford's back in left. Good changeup. Makes it 1-1. Both these starting pitchers tonight have been polishing that pitch, the changeup, in spring training.
The changeup gives Roy a pitch that is in between the velocity of his fastball and his curveball. He throws a real slow curve. Of course, he throws a pretty fast fastball, usually in the 92 to 95 range. The changeup will probably come in there 81 or 82, and the curveball is usually somewhere between 65 and maybe 73.
Two and two. Roy beat the Cardinals twice in September last year. Matt Morris was his opponent on both occasions. He beat them here 2-0, and in St. Louis 8-1 in important games. 3 balls and 2 strikes. In the 2002 season, he competed on 3 of his starts against Darryl Kyle. Had a couple of no decisions and a loss, but pitched well in 2 of those. Slowly hit to Jeff Kent's right. Quick throw. And his foot slipped a little bit, but he still makes it a 1-2-3 third. In the middle of the third, it's 0-0. Alves steps in. He has 1 hit and 8 at bats. Roy Oswalt on deck in a 0-0 game, bottom of the third. Down to the second. Played by Marlon Anderson. 1 pitch, 1 out for Jason Marquis. His objective in throwing more sinkers this year was to do exactly what he's been doing tonight, get more ground ball outs.
Keep the ball in the ballpark.
5 ground ball outs so far. Roy Oswalt has had a 2-hit game already. 2 hits and 8 at bats this season. One of those hits a double. Greg Biggio's on deck.
Played him way around to the opposite field, and that's the way he usually hits.
Strike to Roy. Astros have won 9 and lost 6, as have the Chicago Cubs, who are waiting for a rain delay to end in Pittsburgh. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the Cincinnati Reds have now pulled even with those 2 at 9 and 6. They beat Atlanta this afternoon 5-3 in a game shortened to 5 innings by rain. Corey Lytle won that one over Jarrett Wright. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Like a pretty good pitch.
And the Reds will be coming in on the Astros' next homestand. Oswalt taps a foul. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
One thing that both pitchers and hitters would agree upon is that they would like for the umpire to have a consistent strike zone. If it's a large, consistent strike zone, of course, the pitchers love that. Small, they can deal with it, and vice versa. But what they all want is for the same pitch to be a strike all night and the same pitch not to be a strike all night.
It's a re-up. 2 outs.
After this week's series with the Cardinals, the Astros head out of town for a 6-game road trip. They'll be back home Friday, April 30th, to battle the Central Division rival Cincinnati Reds. Why the umbrella? Well, because the first 15,000 adults will receive an Astros golf umbrella, courtesy of HEB. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or log on to astros.com for tickets. And hopefully it won't be that windy when you use your umbrella the first time.
Let's hope not. Greg Biggio struck out in the first inning. There's another slider and strike 1. Biggio has 228 hits in his career against St. Louis pitching. That's number 1 among all active players. Jeff Bagwell's number 2 with 204. Liner left, Langford over, and did he get it? He did. The call is made by Andy Fletcher on a line drive for out number 3. Langford spears it, and the Cardinals like the fact that he's left-handed. Reaches down with the right hand and got it just above grass level to make it a 1-2-3 third and keep the game scoreless through 3.
Scoreless as we go to the top of the 4th. Of course, you know, last year was a season to remember, a year filled with unbelievable moments. But beginning May 22nd, the best is yet to come as the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week returns. The first of 18 weeks of what promises to be the greatest season yet. It all begins May 22nd on Fox.
0-0 game here. Roy Oswalt delivers ball 1.
Ball 1 has been a rarity in this game.
Ray Langford's the 21st batter in this game. And he was only the 3rd one to see ball 1 on the first pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pujols and Edmonds due up next. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Over a 5-year period, after a 1-0 count, the batter had a .281 average in the major leagues. After an 0-1 count, the average was .234.
And that's why they say the best pitch in baseball is strike 1.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Roy Oswalt ranks 3rd in the majors in winning percentage since 2001 with a .724 winning percentage, 45-17. Now he has a full count on Langford. It's his first, well, second full count. He had one on Anderson in the last inning. Fly ball sends Biggio back into left center field, racing all the way back toward the bullpen wall. It's off that wall, backed up by Berkman. It's going to be a double for Langford, his 5th.
He's got great opposite field power. I didn't think he hit the ball hard enough to get it out there to that fence.
First hit for the Cardinals.
Change up upstairs. Probably would have been ball 4. But this works out even better for him.
A man in scoring position now with nobody out for Albert Pujols on the leadoff double by Langford. A line drive foul. Strike 1 to Prince Albert. In 15 innings, Arizona won at Milwaukee 11-9. Manny Bautista hit 2 homers to give him 4 for the year. Pretty deep in right field. Hidalgo way back. He reaches up and snags it. Now the late tag by Langford. And he'll get to third base. Tremendous play, though, by Hidalgo.
If he gets to it, he almost always catches. He's not the fastest outfielder in the league, but he generally gets a good jump and takes a good route. And he had to do both of those things to make that play.
Nice timing on the leap to Rob Pujols. Langford took third, one out, infield in. Jim Edmonds, the batter, he struck out in the first inning. Scott Rowland's on deck. In a game like this, a one-run lead could be huge. Brooks Kieschnick hit a pinch homer in Milwaukee's game today. Jeff Jenkins hit his third. Kent to his left, slides and flips to Bagwell. He kept it close enough, and Langford wasn't coming. 2 outs.
Well, you can't break for home on a ball hit that sharply if the infielder gets his glove on it. Now that it gets away from him, Langford realizes that he could have scored, but by then it's too late. And Kent's got a pretty good arm. If he'd fielded that ball cleanly and Langford had tried to score, I think Jeff could have thrown him out.
Well, the infielders are back with 2 down. Scott Rowland's the batter. He struck out looking in the second. There's a good cut. Fouls it for strike 1. Florida down Philadelphia 9-7, continuing Florida's dominance of the Phillies. Line shot will make it 1-0 St. Louis. Rowland heads for second base. Hidalgo plays it off the wall. RBI double for Rowland. A 12-game hitting streak. That's his 26th run batted in.
12th extra base hit. Just off to a great start. Wasn't a very good pitch, and that's going to happen to every single pitcher there is. Sometimes you get away with them, sometimes you don't.
Edgar Renteria follows and looks at strike 1. He grounded the shortstop in the second inning. Cardinals are 5-0 on the road for the first time since '62. 4 balls, 2 strikes. The club record for starting the season with the most victories on the road is 12-0. That was in 1941 by the Redbirds.
Well, that was a great season for Major League Baseball. The Cardinals and Dodgers had a pennant race right down to the wire. Ted Williams hit over 400. Joe DiMaggio hitting 56 straight games.
Very memorable season. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
They're all trying to get it in before the war because it wasn't too much later than a lot of those guys were overseas.
Yes, they were. The Cardinals' longest road winning streak at any point of last year was 3 games.
But they still won about 87 games.
Yeah. 2 balls and 2 strikes. They were in first place in early September, and then they lost 7 of 8 key games within the division. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes now.
Trying to think how they could lose 7 out of 8 without losing more than 3 straight.
Well, their longest road winning streak was 3. Evans sails by Chavez, and here's a play at third base. No, he doesn't make a throw. He kicked right back to him, but Rowland moved over. It's ball 4 and a wild pitch to get Rowland to third base. Second walk for Oswalt.
That one really got away from him.
Yes, it did. This is his first wild pitch of the year. Reggie Sanders, who grounded to third, is the batter. Runners at first and third, 2 down. The Cardinals lead 1-0. They're looking for more here with Mike Matheny on deck. There was a fracas in that Marlins-Phillies game today. Catcher Todd Pratt was ejected along with Marlins shortstop Alex Gonzalez. After a pitch up and in. Pop back out of play. Strike 1. Our Aflac trivia question comes your way. Let's see what fellas and gals have for us tonight. Who was the MVP of the last Major League Baseball All-Star game in Houston in 1986?
I was sitting in right field.
The train is not a clue.
No.
No, it isn't.
It was not the big train, Walter Johnson.
It was not his nickname.
But he does have a nickname that you're very much aware of. 1 ball, 1 strike. He pitched 3 perfect innings and was the winning pitcher in the game. And we'll let you think about that. One and 1 to Reggie Sanders. Up and in for ball 2. The Cardinals have not swept a 3-game series at Houston since May of 1996.
Folks need a clue on that trivia question. The American League won the game. It was 2-1, wasn't it? Or 3-2? It was one of those.
I'm not sure what the final was, Greg.
Very low score.
Well, the other All-Star game in the Dome, 1968, also very low score.
Yeah, it was 1-0, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's only 1-0 game in All-Star history.
I bet this year's isn't.
That home run derby should take a while this year. We were wondering, as it's fouled for strike 2, 2 balls, 2 strikes, if, well, assuming the roof would be closed, because July can be a very warm month here, but if it happened to be open, good grief, how many balls would leave this park?
I think you're going to try to leave it open.
Oh, that would be fun. A lot of folks will be standing out on Crawford Street just waiting for the souvenirs to appear. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Somebody asked Jeff Bagwell last night during batting practice, hey, has anybody hit one over that All-Star game logo on the foul pole since they put it up? He said, yeah, Tim Redding in batting practice.
Yeah, right. The longest home run hit in this park was hit by Sammy Sosa. And he hit it up way above that All-Star game sign, all the way up into the lights.
Except you won't see it listed as the longest.
That's true.
We all think it was, though.
Runner goes from first, and it's popped up foul.
Hit that one off Scott Ellerton.
By the way, Richard hit one off of the train station today in batting practice, and it was just, I would say maybe 20 feet to the right and lower than Drayton's window with the 422. Yeah, it actually hit the brick.
It's got to be one of the all-timers then. Big 3-2 pitch coming. Foul back.
Well, the Cardinals have put up a pretty good fight in this inning. They've got Oswald up to 65 pitches already.
He hit it. The level of windows right below the 422, a little bit to the right on the corner.
That's the first time we've ever heard of a ball being hit up there, even in batting practice. Renteria gets ready to take off again, and it's a curveball for a strikeout. The Cardinals break the scoring ice with a run on a pair of doubles and leave 2. It's 1-0 St. Louis. It's a 1-0 lead for the Cardinals. Our Aflac trivia question comes your way again, and we'll find out the answer this time. Who was the MVP of the last Major League Baseball All-Star game in Houston in 1986? Roger Clemens.
Not a train, a rocket.
He's due to pitch Saturday in Colorado.
This is, after all, Houston.
Strike 1 to Adam Everett. He grounded out to shortstop in the first inning. Jason Marquis has allowed the Astros just 1 base runner through 3. A single by Lance Berkman. Marquis looking sharp. 1 ball, 1 strike. Got a no decision at Arizona on April 11th, giving up 1 run in 6 innings, and then last time out that win over Colorado, giving up 3 runs in 7. A liner left field, headed for the corner. It's hooking hard and going foul.
Adam is hitting the ball so much harder this year than he has in the past. He actually looks like a guy that might hit 10 or 12 home runs.
Ball drifted back over the plate, and he nailed it. This is Marquis' 6th career appearance, but only his 2nd start against the Astros. And he gets a strikeout on the slider. His 2nd. Jeff Bagwell will follow. He bounced out to short in the 1st inning. Jeff Kent's on deck. Cardinals have had 2 quality efforts by their starting pitchers in this series so far. Ball 1 to Bagwell. Jeff Suppan in the opener gave up 1 run in 6 innings. Last night, Matt Morris gave up 3 runs in 6. Only 1 was earned. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Redbirds starting pitchers are 4-0 on the road with a 2.73 ERA. Morris on the right, Suppan on the left. They have really pitched well here at Minute Maid Park this season.
Probably shared what they experienced on the mound with the guy that's out there now.
It's 3 balls, no strikes. 38 ground balls for the season, 16 fly balls. 6-2 tonight with 2 strikeouts. There's a fly ball. Jim Edmonds heading back in center field, checking where the track is. 2 outs on a 3-0 pitch. Bagwell was cranking.
Well, hitters with the kind of home run totals that he has over the course of his career are going to get the 3-0 green light most of the time. And he hit that ball well enough to hit it out of parts of this ballpark, but not in the direction he hit it.
2 down. Jeff Kent will try to start a 2-out rally. He bounced to short in the 2nd. Check swing foul for strike 1. The Astros have had a healthy advantage over their opponents in runs scored the first 3 innings. So far they have 1 hit through 3 2/3 innings. Renteria gets the big hop. Jason Marquis continues to plow through the Astros lineup with a 1-hitter through 4 and a 1-0 lead. St. Louis 1, Houston 0. The Cardinals put together a pair of doubles in the 4th inning. Scott Rowland with the RBI. And we check out our Texas Ford dealers league leaders for you. In ERA in the National League, Dontrell Willis is the top man at 0. Al Leiter has a 0.52. Roger Clemens is third, 0.87. And it's Tom Glavine and Carlos Zambrano on our league ERA leaders in the National League. Now we go to the 5th inning, and Roy Oswalt faces Mike Matheny. Matheny lined to second. This one goes in the air toward Craig Biggio in center field. And it's 1 pitch, 1 out as Sherry Hunsaker's lovely wife Irene joins us in the booth to talk about the Astros Wives Cookbook, something that is near and dear to your heart, Irene. And hey, you brought some meatloaf for us tonight.
This is Jerry's mom's meatloaf.
You know how to get our attention. That is a lovely little
Can I serve
dish.
you some?
Oh, well, let's see if we can get some right over here in front of you. And that would be nice.
It's really easy to make.
There's a bunt, and it's fouled by Jason Marquis for strike
Maybe
1.
for you.
No, no, no. It's very easy, and it actually makes great sandwiches.
Very nicely garnished. That's a part of the whole process, isn't it? The presentation.
You bet. And I think that the presentation in the cookbook is actually something that the fans really will like, because it has a family photo. It has some fun facts about the favorite restaurants, what they enjoyed as growing up as a child, special meals, and an autographed copy on a ball of their signature, and then a recipe. So it has a little bit for everything.
Now you're here just to prove that Jerry has been a good scout for a long, long time.
Thank you.
But your one trade he would never make. And Jason Markey.
I have a no-trade clause.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Yeah,
after
it's a
all
good
those
one.
Years.
31 years, no trade.
31 years. Yeah, he loves the ponies. We know that. He's accumulating horses, but also the food. He's got to love these dishes. Not only the ones like his mom's meatloaf that you've shown us here, but maybe he will try some of the other recipes in your from home plate to your plate cookbook.
Actually, we tasted a Casey Lane's Heath Bar Truffle.
Oh, yeah.
That was delicious.
We've heard about that.
That was outstanding. I've had the Berkman banana pudding, and that's one of my favorite desserts.
Adam Everett makes a play. His wife Jennifer has accompanied you to the booth, and she's also been working very hard on this little project.
Well, her and Christy Ensberg, Jennifer Everett, Christy Ensberg, and Kristen Sarlis have just rolled up their sleeves and have worked hard. We've been working on it for over a year to put this cookbook together, and you can get it here at the Shed, and also at from Home Plate Supply Company, kiosks 118 and 415. You can get it on the Astros web, and you can also get it at all Academy Sports and Outdoor stores. And the proceeds all go to MD Anderson.
Yes, uterine cancer research. You strike one, and you're a survivor of that. So it's a project that's very close to you over the years.
Well, it's the fourth most common female cancer, and it affects about 40,100 women per year. But it's very under-researched and underfunded. So
we got to do something about that.
Well, we're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying hard.
And you can help by spending $20 on that cookbook. That's a very affordable price.
Well, we think it's going to be a collector's item. We haven't done
Take
one
it
for a long
around
time.
Get it signed.
Sure.
Make the recipes. Enjoy the food.
Well,
Get a lot for that $20.
Someone told me that for the All-Star game that they were going to have a party and make all the recipes or plan their menu from this cookbook.
That's great.
So I think that's a good idea.
Yes, it is. Line drive left center field. Lance Berkman cutting over, and this will be extra bases. Around first, Marlon Anderson. The Cardinals get their third double of the game. Anderson gets his first of the year.
Take a look at the pitch. Wanted to get it away, I think, and left it over a big part of the plate. When you throw a lot of strikes like Roy does, you're going to give up some hits. There's no getting around that. But the bottom line is runs, and he doesn't give up too many of them.
Ray Langford, the batter, he has scored the only run allowed so far in this game after his double in the fourth inning. He's 1 for 2. And there's the big hook for strike one. Well, it's a great cookbook, and it's really nice that you have two corporate sponsors, which allows you to give all the proceeds to charity.
It's amazing. They really, everyone's internet and Academy Sports and Outdoors have made it possible so that the book was funded by everyone's internet, and Academy outrighted and purchased their exclusive retailer, and so they set us off on a positive foot.
Yes.
And if you check everyone's internet homepage, you'll find out where we're going to be this coming week, April 28th. We're going to be out signing. So if you go to ev1.net, you can find out where we're going to be. We have some of the lives. We're going to also be May 1st at Academy Sports and Outdoors at Kirby and Greenbrier. And we've got a pretty full calendar.
Yes,
May
you do.
7th, we're going to be at our Work Steakhouse. So it's just been amazing. All the wives have really given of their time, their talent, and are working so hard to sell all these cookbooks so that we can raise a sizable amount for MD Anderson Uterine Cancer Research Program.
You know what? If you would get a picture of me wearing this apron, you would get a great reaction out of Judy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you have that teal ribbon on, and a lot of people know that the pink ribbon is for breast cancer, but I have the teal bow on, and you got there you go, our apron.
This way. There we go.
They're also available for sale. $13, Larry. I'll sell you one
Not
right
bad.
now.
I'll tell you.
In your case, of course, it's only for show.
That's for sure.
But these would be great Mother's Day gifts, and there's something in this book that They saved the life. We have an informational card. I don't know where the camera is, but it's
Right there.
Oh, okay. It's gynecological cancer awareness. So we put in information. This is from MD Anderson that gets women to be proactive on their gynecological health and maybe pick up an early warning sign, because uterine cancer is curable if it's caught early.
Thank you, Irene, for joining us.
Great job.
Richard
Come in here
Hidalgo.
and work a few innings.
Thank you. You guys
Good luck.
you're great.
Thank you. Good luck with the cookbook. And it's a 1-0 ball game. St. Louis 1, Houston nothing. What's on tap with the Astros is brought to you by Busch Beer. It's Brandon Duckworth and Jason Jennings tomorrow night in Colorado. If the forecast allows these two teams to play, Jennings has a great career record in that ballpark. Hope you'll join us for that one. And Lance Berkman takes ball 1. By the way, that has been changed now. It is a Fox Sports Net Southwest game tomorrow night. That is a recent change. Lance Berkman is the only Houston base runner. It's 2 balls, no strikes to him.
Trying to work him inside, and they're playing him to pull. But when you're going to overshift your defense the way the Cardinals are for Lance, the pitcher has to be a part of that. He has to throw pitches that Lance is likely to pull. And that's not one of them. But that's another thing that makes it difficult for the hitter, because he looks out there and he assumes you're going to pitch him a certain way, and then if you don't, he's surprised.
It's 3 balls and a strike.
Braves like to pitch everybody away, and they play almost every hitter, even the pull hitters, to hit to the opposite field. I once asked Leo Mazzoni, you know, how could a pitcher throw a changeup when you've got the fielders all around to the opposite field? And he said, well, if we throw a changeup and they pull it, they get a double. So we just live with that.
Berkman works a walk.
Tom Seaver is tonight's higher standards player, brought to you by Bank of America, because on this day in 1970, the day he is presented with his Cy Young Award from the year before, Met fireballer Seaver ties a major league record by hitting 19, including the last 10 he faces to gain a 2-1 win. Ironically, Seaver said, my job isn't to strike guys out, it's to get them out, sometimes by striking them out. And he did a great job in that game.
It's like Sandy Koufax when he said that I got to be a good pitcher when I tried to make him hit it instead of miss it.
Richard Hidalgo takes strike 1. He popped a second in the second inning.
Because when you try to make them hit it and you've got Koufax stuff, receiver stuff, they still don't hit it very often.
Just about a year ago, Jason Marquis was optioned to Richmond last April 19th. High drive hooking, upper deck. 0-2. So in the last year, it would appear that Marquis has really learned some useful lessons.
Sometimes just getting an opportunity is all a young guy needs, and when you're with the Braves the last couple of years, the kind of pitching they've had, you feel like you don't have much of a chance. If you get 1 or 2 starts and don't do well, you're out of the rotation again.
Good point, Larry.
With the Cardinals now, he comes to spring training, they get him ready to start, they put him in the rotation. He figures he's in the rotation all year, he can relax a little bit.
He's from Manhasset, New York. First reached the Braves in 2000.
He's a National Merit Honor student in high school. They don't have too many guys like that.
No. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not many of them up here in the booth either.
You can be too smart.
That can happen.
They had a pitcher one time, Ken McKenzie, left-handed pitcher. And he was probably borderline genius. I think he went to Harvard or Princeton. But he couldn't figure out how to pitch. He didn't have all these complex spots in his mind, and when all you really need to do is have 2 or 3 pitches and be able to throw strikes. That wasn't challenging enough for him.
3-2. The runner goes. Foul ball. Berkman took off on the pitch.
Lance hasn't stolen a base yet this year, but he has some speed. And when he is out there with a pitcher that's slow to the plate, he can steal. There aren't that many pitchers around anymore that are slow to the plate. And the Astros are not a real fast team, so probably it would take a guy that's real slow to the plate before Jimmy would turn them loose on a straight steal.
Not going. Strike 3 call. Third strikeout for Marquis. Greg?
You know, Mike Lamb was coming to the plate now, starting his second game in a row, and one of the questions asked to Jimmy Williams before the game was, okay, what's the deal with Morgan Ensberg? Is this a rotation, a platoon, or what?
Morgan's played in the majority of the game so far, but I just want to keep Mike sharp, too, and get him in there and maybe give Morgan a little bit of an opportunity here, maybe to work with Harry for a couple, 3 days, just to work on some things hitting-wise, and maybe take a little bit of extra batting practice. Actually, we got him in the game last night for a couple of bats, and I thought he really looked good. Actually, the ball he hit to third, they gave the third baseman error. My opinion, the ball was really hit that hard that it could have gone the other way. And I think the time before he tapped out, but I think on the first pitch he hit a ball out foul, so he's a little bit more aggressive, and I think that's the way he has to be successful, because in my recollection, that's the way he hit last year.
So the short answer is no, this is not a platoon. It's just a couple of days to get Ensberg straightened out.
It's a pretty good thought. You know, Lamb is a new guy with a team, and the more he can contribute early, the more he'll feel a part of things. And give Ensberg a time to clear his head and start over.
It's 1-2, but that thought about being more aggressive is something we have heard. And it's probably an adjustment in Morgan's mind from hitting second, which he did last year, to hitting seventh, which he's been doing this year.
He actually will probably have more RBI opportunities hitting seventh.
It's 2-2 to Mike Lamb. I think sometimes that's a good opportunity to take a player away from a situation of playing every day in which he might be heaping pressure on himself. Just give him that mental break so he can go about his work and develop the kind of habits they would like to see him have. Strike 3 call. That's 2 called third strikes in a row for Marquis in this inning.
Really a tough pitch. He's tearing a page out of Greg Maddox's book. A lot of pitchers do it, but not many as well as Maddox. He pitches inside and tails back to the corner. The hitter sees it inside, and by the time he sees it starting to tail back in, it's too late to swing.
Raul Chavez, the number 8 hitter, went for the first pitch and bounced out to second in the 3rd inning. Pitcher Roy Oswalt's on deck. This one hit slowly. Renteria in, and he can't pick it up.
Oh, Chavo running. He didn't really need to rush that play. I'm surprised he missed it. And it's a break for the Astros because now Oswalt is up, and of course he's got a runner in scoring position, and he's not a bad hitter. I don't know if he looked up just a little bit maybe to see where the runner was. No, I don't think he did. He just missed it. But now, even if Roy makes an out here and the Astros don't score, they'll start the next inning with a leadoff hitter.
3rd error for Renteria. Oswalt grounded out to Renteria in 3rd inning.
It's when you're on a roll, and the Astros had been on one up until the last 2 days, you make teams pay for mistakes like that.
Ball 1 from Marquis. Biggio on deck. That was foul off the leg of Oswalt. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. The New York Mets and Steve Traxel beat the Montreal Expos 3-2 today.
Well, at least the Expos got 2 runs.
John Patterson, who went to West Orange Stark High School, pitched well, got no decisions, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run for Montreal. Braden Looper got save number 4. On appeal to first, that's a check swing call for Jim Reynolds. 2 balls and a strike. Sean Estes in Colorado knocked off the Dodgers in the game shortened to 6.5 innings by an icy rain. 7-1. Jose Lima, the loser, gave up a long ball to Vinny Castilla. Holiday also went deep.
That's probably the first home run Lima's ever given up.
Really? Gee, I must have a faulty memory then.
He broke my record for home runs given up in a year, and then the next year he just smashed his own record. He got up close to 50.
Oswalt chops one back to the mound. Marquis making the play for the 3rd out. It's no runs, no hits, 1 error, 2 left after 5, 1-0 Cardinals.
Cards still lead at 1-0, but you know it's not too late for Astros season tickets. That's right. They start at just $710 and include 2004 playoff options. To learn more about the benefits of a season ticket package, including the best possible seating at Minute Maid Park, it's real simple. Call 1-800-ASTROS-2, and then you can root for the good guys like those 2 people who, well, he just proposed to her a moment ago. She said yes.
It's heaven.
In their Astros gear and everything. A memorable night for those folks. Roy Oswalt, though, is trailing 1-0. And it's not going to be memorable if he doesn't get some run support. Albert Pujols is going to work here in the top of the 6th inning. He hit the ball well to right field. Richard Hidalgo made a good catch on him after he walked in the 1st. A pitcher's duel. We've had some freewheeling games between these 2 this season. The Astros have scored 35 runs in 5 games. The Cardinals 26. Ball 1 knocks Pujols back.
Well, the pitch he hit last time and hit it well was a fastball away. I think he's trying to keep him off the plate. He also got a curveball earlier in that count and lined it down the left side, but foul.
It's 2 balls, no strikes. Edmonds and Rowland to follow.
Now, this is a big inning for Roy. If he gets through this without any damage, he'll be in good shape.
He jammed him. Pujols fouls it back. 2 balls and a strike. Well, let's take a look at that pitch.
Very similar to the pitch that he hit out of here. Brett.
New era. 59-50 cap. It's a special box. Hammered on through to center field. 2 holes in what looks to be an angle. And he is on as the Cardinals get hit number 4.
Their first hit that hasn't been a double. Get him off the plate. Did that. Same thing again. He takes it. Again. Bounces out. Away for a called strike. Try to put him away, but it's a high curve ball, and he's got another base hit. This guy's hitting about 325 or 330 lifetime. And he's been averaging about 125 RBIs a year in his first 3 years in the National League.
Jim Edmonds follows. He is struck out and grounded out to second. They have one of these Clemens caps up here in the booth. They are unbelievable. Have you ever seen a cap like this before?
I've never seen one quite so extravagantly decorated.
It's in its own box. Here we go. I'll open the box and show you this cap. Has a little mirror in there for you. And here's the cap itself with all kinds of memorabilia.
We'll try not to look at mirrors too much anymore.
Join the club. It's a limited edition, celebrity designed baseball cap called the Clemens 5950 cap. It has embroidery in the likeness of the Rocket on the front 2 wool panels, and the mesh panels in the back feature his Cy Young, World Series, and MVP awards, plus the initials of his children, 4 Ks. The cap also displays the names of all the Major League Baseball teams he's played for. And there you see it's going to be available at the shed beginning on Thursday, April 29th. Some of the proceeds go to the Roger Clemens Foundation. 288 of them available starting April 29th. It is really quite a catch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So nice, you'd be afraid to wear it.
Actually, you would.
Of course, it's signed, so probably more suitable for display.
Absolutely. His autograph right on the bill of the cap. Foul ball. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the Rocket says that he's been wearing New Era caps ever since he was 11 years old in Little League. So it's a perfect fit for him. He will be pitching Saturday afternoon in Colorado if the weather holds for tomorrow night against lefty Jeff Becerra with that 3-0 record for Roger. Up the middle past Oswald. It goes to Everett. He steps on second, throws to Bagwell. Double play.
Well, Roy is probably happy now that he wasn't able to make a play on that ground ball, because if he had touched it, he might not have caught it, and everyone might have been safe. Instead, Everett makes the double play.
It did appear to be a good bit of fortune for Roy. And the Astros get their 16th twin killing of the year. Now Scott Rowland with the bases clean. Ball 1 to Rowland, who drove the RBI double to right field in the 4th. He will take a 12-game hitting streak on to Milwaukee tonight. 2 balls and no strikes.
2 outs and nobody on. You don't want to give in here, even though you're behind in the count.
26 runs batted in. 2-1. The major league record for the month of April is 35 by Juan Gonzalez with the Texas Rangers in '98.
Almost all the April records are recent vintage.
Yeah. Popped up. Bagwell's there. In the 6th inning, a double play and a pop-up. Get Oswald going toward the bottom of the 6th, hoping for some run support from Biggio. Everett and Bagwell, 1-0 Redbirds.
1-0. The Cardinals lead it. We got big goings coming up on Saturday. College baseball at 3 o'clock. A couple of teams ranked in the top 20. Nebraska and Texas from Austin. Larry Durker and I will be there for that one. Astro fans, weather permitting in Colorado, can check out Channel 51 for the Astros game. So a lot of big action on Saturday afternoon. College baseball on Fox Sports Net. The Astros game on Saturday will be on 51.
Thank you, Greg. Craig Biggio's 0 for 2. There was strike 1 to him. Jason Marquis, now the count even.
Well, Texas is #1 in the nation, and Nebraska 16, and several other schools from around here and other schools in the Big 12 are also highly ranked.
That slider has worked for Marquis on Biggio tonight.
Yeah, it really has. It's almost as if he can't pick up the spin.
One of the fun things about those, is Larry's already learned, is you get to take a look at some of the guys the scouts like. Might be playing the major leagues before you know it.
A little flare toward right center field. Sanders. 1 out.
The Redbirds have a lot more speed in the outfield than the Astros, particularly when Langford is healthy and running well. Edmonds has won a number of Gold Gloves in center. Sanders has great speed. They all throw well.
Well, the top 4 hitters for the Astros have not reached base. 0 for 9 collectively. Adam Everett is bounced out and struck out. Showing bunt. He takes a strike. A game like this might make you think about some little ball.
Well, you're in the 6th inning looking for your first run. That should definitely put that thought in your mind.
It's 0-2. San Diego beats San Francisco 9-4 today.
San Diego's been a bit surprising this year.
Absolutely. Good game Saturday for Marquis. 107 pitches, 3 runs allowed in 7 innings against the Rockies. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Game before that was a strong one for him as well. He is at 80 pitches now tonight. 50 of them strikes,
He looks good. He's got a lot of movement on his fastball. The Astros are having trouble hitting it squarely. He's also done a real good job of keeping the ball out of the middle of the strike zone without getting behind in the count too much and without walking many. He's only walked one.
Takes a walk off the mound. And a 1-0 game.
A lot of people think having good control means throwing a lot of strikes and not very many balls, but having good control at this level really means throwing a lot of strikes without throwing the ball down the middle.
Up the middle. And on through into center field, a hit for Adam Everett. The Astros' second single of the night.
There's one that was down the middle, and he hit it right back up the middle.
Now Everett, who's 2 for 2 in steals, is aboard for Bagwell, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
I'm getting Marquis anyway from 1.25 to 1.3 to the plate, and that's pretty quick. I don't think Adam would try to steal if he keeps being there quick.
Bagwell is smashed to left center field. Everett's going to third. Edmonds with a throw. Out.
Just because the guy makes a great throw doesn't mean you have to call the runner out. It's the toughest call an umpire will ever have to make when you have an infielder tagging a guy up high and the foot going into the bag and trying to decide which came first. But you know that the umpire got himself blocked out behind the fielder and didn't get a good view of that.
That's Andy Fletcher.
Pretty hard to make a good call when you can't see the play.
Adam is popping up when Rolen tags him.
If the umpire would have been around on the other side of the bag, he would have seen that.
Two outs now. Bagwell at first for Jeff Kent. Jim Edmonds gets an outfield assist.
And the thing I don't understand is why would you want to be on the outfield side of the bag? The infielder is not going to stand on the inside part of the bag. The infielder is going to stand right where Rolen was. And if he does, you've got a chance if you get behind him to not be able to see the play.
Second outfield assist of the year for Edmonds. He has 121 in his career. Jeff Kent takes a strike. Edmonds threw out 12 base runners last year. Well, that's a tough call for the Astros.
It was a great throw, though.
It was. Everett was trying to become the first Houston base runner to reach third base tonight. On into left center field. Bagwell will hold.
You know, it's almost like when you get caught stealing, the next guy gets on.
Yeah.
If you get a guy thrown out on the bases, the next guy almost always gets a hit.
Right. It's uncanny. That's 3 straight singles, but the Astros don't have a run. They have 2 outs with Lance Berkman coming up. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, is on his way to the mound. Berkman has singled and walked tonight. Nobody warming right now in the Cardinal bullpen. Berkman has not made an out in his career in just a few plate appearances against Marquis. He has 2 hits, 2 at-bats, and 3 walks. Richard Hidalgo's on deck here in the 6th.
Berkman fouls it. There's strike 1. He's been throwing a lot more pitches over the middle of the plate in this inning. Pretty good pitch to hit right there, and Vance hit it, but not the way he wanted to.
As you see, he has very good numbers in these situations. The Astros as a team have an incredible .356 batting average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Quickly, it's 0-2.
If that wasn't a real good pitch to swing at, it would be awfully difficult to get a hit.
Pujols playing near the line to make the 3 unassisted play for out number 3. And the call at third base very costly to the Astros. It's no runs, 3 hits, 2 left, 1-0 St. Louis. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Pennzoil, by your Texas Chevy dealers, and by Southwest Airlines. It's 1-0 Redbirds. Each club has 4 hits. Here's the 7th inning for Roy Oswalt, and a foul ball by Edgar Renteria starts it. Renteria has grounded out and walked. This is one dandy pitcher's duel so far tonight. That call at third base really big in this game. Quickly, it's 0-2.
You know, that looks like a good pitch to hit, but if you're thinking fastball, you're not going to hit it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 33,076 is the paid attendance tonight.
That's not bad for a weekday before school gets out. Pretty good, really.
Yes, it is. Foul back. Of course, next time these 2 teams play, school will be out in this area, and the crowds should be tremendous. This has been some kind of a series every year for the last several years between these 2. Off Oswalt's glove, it kicks out to Everett, and he makes a fine play. He played to Karam.
Yeah, well, in the last inning they got the double play because Oswalt missed the ball entirely. This time they got the single out because Oswalt deflected the ball. Slowed it down a little bit. Everett went over there and got it. Quick release. And what looks like an easy out.
Yes. Nicely done by Roy to slow it down. Reggie Sanders next.
1-6-3.
The next games here at Houston between these 2 clubs will be May 28th, 29th, and 30th. Now that 1-6-3 play is interesting because it's kind of changed over the years the way the scorer rules it. He won't really give it the 1 for an assist unless the pitcher deflects the ball, changes course on it usually. Foul
So
back.
if the ball just happens to hit him in the elbow or something and Karam's off to an infielder, he doesn't get an assist, but if he actually goes for it with his glove and deflects it, he does.
Well, not always. If he touches it with his glove, but it doesn't really change course. It goes, for instance, toward the shortstop, and he doesn't redirect it in any way by touching it, and he might not get an assist.
What do you think they gave him on that one?
Well, they should give him an assist.
It seemed like it deflected more towards short.
Yes, it did. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and had he not gotten that glove on it, as you pointed out, I don't think Adam Everett would have been able to get anywhere close to that ball. It was really scalded pretty well by Renteria. Mike Matheny's on deck. The Astros have a pitcher in the bullpen. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dan Maselli is warming up in the Houston pen. As you look from behind Mike Matheny in the Cardinal on deck circle.
Well, Roy's already 107 pitches.
And he could come up at the bottom of the inning. 3-2. I believe the attendance was corrected to 33,706. There's Maselli in the Astros bullpen. There were many day games throughout the majors today. This is one of the few night contests. Travel day for most clubs. These 2 clubs will be traveling late into the night. Foul back. Astros due to arrive in Colorado about 1 a.m. something like that. And the Cardinals have that long flight to Milwaukee. They'll have Chris Carpenter going against Matt Kinney tomorrow night, and then Woody Williams and Jeff Suppan go in the other games of that series. They'll face Ben Sheets on Sunday. And Sheets has really been tough. Go 3-2. It's looking like, though, there are plenty of spoilers around in the NL Central, the way Cincinnati and Milwaukee and Pittsburgh have played.
Really tough to stay on top. Keep drafting way down the field.
Popped up. Lamb calling.
They got Sanders on kind of slow curve ball, and this time Sanders felt like he had the swing, but that wouldn't have been a strike.
Hey, fans, make sure you catch the Central Division action next weekend, April 30th through May 3rd, as the Astros take on the Cincinnati Reds on Saturday night at 6:05. All fans in attendance will receive a free Astros cap courtesy of, hey, Fox Sports Net. Great tickets are still available for the entire series, so call 1-877-9-ASTROS or log on to Astros.com and root for the good guys.
Those are nice-looking caps. Mike Matheny fouls it. There's strike one to him. He is 0 for 2. Jason Marquis is due up next. And the Cardinals do not have a pitcher warming up in their bullpen. Oswalt could come up 4th in the bottom of the 7th for Houston. 0-2.
Well, Matheny can't complain about that because his pitcher's been getting that call all night long.
It's really tough on catchers as far as the strike zone goes. Foul back. Still no balls, 2 strikes. In the San Diego win over San Francisco, Ishmael Valdez goes to 2-0, beating Kirk Reeder. He's 0-2. Phil Nevin hit his 3rd home run. Adam Everett makes another play. It's a 1-2-3 7th inning as the fans rise for their 7th inning stretch. It's still 1-0 Redbirds. A 1-0 lead for St. Louis. Roy Oswalt is leaving after throwing 115 pitches. So it's a great night of work, but he'll need some run support here to get off the hook for this loss right now. Here's our game summary brought to you by Chevrolet. A rolling RBI double in the 4th inning with 2 outs. That's accounted for the only scoring. Oswalt will be leaving after 7 innings, walking 2, allowing 1 earned run on 4 hits. And Jason Marquis has been just a little bit better. 6 innings, no runs. But now he pitches his 7th inning, and the Astros have a shot here with Hidalgo, Lamb, and Chavez due up. Then the pitcher's spot would come up against Marquis. Cardinals still are not warming up any relievers. Hidalgo's 0 for 2. Here's ball 1. Here we saw Jim Nance of CBS Sports in the stands right below us.
Down there with John Sorrentino.
Yeah. Good to see Jim.
Jim went to school at U of H.
Yes.
He's probably in for the golf tournament. He's great friends with Freddie Couples.
That's right. 2 balls, no strikes. Marquis takes a little walk. His pitch count is at 90. Here's Jim Nance along with John Sorrentino talking some ball. And maybe some golf,
he
too.
Gets to take that coat and tie off for a change and just enjoy the game like a fan.
Well hit to center field. Jim Edmonds backing on it. 1 out. Jason Marquis got him to hit it to center. That could be a key in this ballpark. Mike Lamb pulled the ball last night for a homer. He is 0 for 2 in this game so far. Oh, Chavez on deck. Dan Maselli continues to warm up in the Houston bullpen. Strike 1 to Lamb.
He's not seeing the break or the spin on that breaking ball either. He's throwing 4 or 5 pitches out of the strike zone. All look like the same pitch.
Now it's 1-1. White Sox lead the Yankees 4-3 at Comiskey in the 7th inning. Top of the 7th, Yankees batting. goes foul, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. McCready hit his second home run of the season. It came off Yankee starter Mike Messina. Now Schoenweis, the White Sox starter. He misses for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the former Yankee and former Texas Ranger Mike Lamb. Now the Cardinals have a couple pitchers warming up. Lefty Steve Klein and right-hander Mike Lincoln. The count runs full on Lamb. And it's ball 4 on a close one. In tight. Second walk for Marquis. The Astros' upcoming schedule is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. It's Brandon Duckworth and Jason Jennings. That's a change to Fox Sports Southwest tomorrow night, Channel 51. And then a Saturday 2 o'clock game on Channel 51 in the Astros television network, matching Roger Clemens and Jeff Passero at Colorado. Sunday, the finale again on the Astros TV network in KNWS in Houston. Matches Wade Miller and Joe Kennedy. We have a pinch hitter now, Jose Vizcaino.
It could actually turn out that Roger Clemens pitches ahead of Duckworth, because if tomorrow's game is called on account of weather and a doubleheader is scheduled the next day, Roger would probably pitch the first game.
Yeah, because they play day-night doubleheaders in Colorado when they have them. Jason Lane on deck. Jose Vizcaino is the pinch hitter here for Raul Chavez. Vizcaino goes for the first pitch and he fouls it, strike 1 to a 125 hitting pinch hitter with 2 hits and 16 at bats. 0 for 5 so far in pinch hitting roles this year.
Just 2 for 14 left-handed, so he's off to a slow start, but you pretty much know what you're going to get from him. If he's not swinging so well now, he'll swing better later.
He charges one deep to right field. Reggie Sanders on the run, and he gloves it, fires back to first base. Good catch by Sanders.
Oh, that was. I didn't think he had a chance to catch that ball off the bat.
Well, you talked about the speed and the range these Cardinal outfielders have, and that's a definite advantage in a situation like this one.
One of the things that the Cardinals did very well in the 80s when they won their division, I think 4 times, is they had a Gold Glove caliber defense, and they had just an average pitching staff, but their pitchers could throw strikes, and their fielders made the pitchers into good pitchers, or at least it helped them to have good numbers. And so instead of doing it from the mound, they did it mostly with their gloves, and they could do that again this year.
Yes, they could. Jason Lane's the pinch hitter. He is 2 for 5 this season. As a pinch hitter, he's 0 for 1. Both those hits came in his start in center field. That's a strike to Lane. So he has drawn a walk, and he's 0 for 1. And those pinch hitting assignments, he's been in 10 games. He comes in defensively sometimes with the lead in center field. That is a nice stop by Matheny. 115 pitches for Oswalt. 76 of them went for strikes. Marquis at 101 and 63. With a 1-0 lead in the 7th.
I'm calling it now.
No. 2 balls and a strike. Strike zone may be changing. Greg Biggio on deck. Renteria can't get anybody out. Lane reaches. He hit it hard. Renteria moved to his left.
He drilled it.
Lamb to second base with 2 down for Biggio now. Renteria tried to make an impossible force play at second. It's ruled a hit.
Wow. That looked more like an error than that ball to third last night.
Yeah, it looks surprisingly more like an error than a hit. But that's the ruling, and now you see Dave Duncan.
But, you know, there's it's an inexact science, to be sure. It's a judgment call by the official scorer, just like the umpires make judgment calls. And when you're in that kind of business, you're obviously going to be open to some criticism. And a lot of plays are really just in-betweeners, like a pitch that's either on the corner or off the corner. It's either a hit or an error, and some of them are not easy.
No, they're not. Greg Biggio's 0 for 3. Pitcher scoring a very difficult job.
Yeah, plus you got to know the rules too.
Yeah, that's right. And very few people know all the rules. There's ball 1. So the Astros get this chance now, and Biggio hopes to cash in. He is 6 for 9 with men in scoring position. Liner to right.
Sanders can throw.
Sanders with a throw to the plate. It trickles in and it's tied. It gets by the pitcher backing up, but the runners can't move up. Biggio delivers again, now 7 for 10 with runners in scoring position. He gets his 14th run batted in to tie it.
That gets Roy off the hook. And now Adam Everett has a chance to drive in a lead run, which could put Oswalt in a position to be the winning pitcher, because he has left the game. He's been pinch hit for, but nobody has pitched in his place yet. So anything that happens in this inning goes towards Oswalt's line in terms of winning or losing, not the next pitcher.
Now Adam Everett bounces one slowly. Rowland coming in, and he throws on the run to get him. And the Astros come up with a tying run in the 7th inning. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left. It's 1-1. It's time now for our Grab Life by the Horns feature, with this game tied at 1. We asked Jeff Kent about his ultimate goal in his baseball career.
I've got a World Series ring, and I've got a league championship ring collecting dust at my house. I'd love to trade both those in to be declared a champion.
Grab Life by the Horns is brought to you by Dodge, where we grab life by the horns every day. Brad Ausmus comes in to do the catching. He's hitting in the number 8 spot. And the new pitcher is not Dan Maselli, but Brad Lidge, who was warming up later after Maselli had been throwing. He comes into a tie ball game with very good numbers for the season, Larry.
Yes, he does. He's going to face a pinch hitter right away. Porter, who's got a couple of hits in this series and was in the Astros minor league system last year. This guy's been swinging the bat pretty well, even in the minors. He was hitting .368 with a couple of home runs when they called him up.
And 2 for 2 in this series. Last night he connected coming off the bench in the 7th inning. That was off Brandon Backey. And then the night before he came up with a 9th inning hit off Dan Maselli. Now he faces a third different Astros right-handed reliever. And Lidge throws a slider for ball 1. Now Jason Marquis, like Roy Oswalt, really had a fine night of it.
And they have almost identical lines.
7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run allowed. He walked 2 and he fanned 4.
The only difference is that the Astros got 2 more hits off of Marquis than the Cardinals got off Oswalt.
Brad Lidge in to try to keep it tied until the bottom half, when Bagwell, Kent, and Berkman are due up. And Lidge throws the fastball by at 97 miles per hour.
That's the luxury of having a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, is when you get behind 2-0, you can just steam it right in there and count on the velocity to do the deal for you instead of having to worry about hitting a corner.
Strike. It's 2-2 as Lidge comes back to even it. Lidge worked on Saturday and Sunday in the Milwaukee series. Gave up a home run to Keith Ginter in the 14-5 win Saturday, and closed out the 6-1 win with a hitless inning on Sunday. And on the slider. He comes back to strike out Porter.
Lidge has taken on more responsibility this year with the trading of Billy Wagner. He moves from a 7th inning guy and the 3rd guy down in the pecking order to the 8th inning and the 2nd down from Dotel. And of course, the ultimate additional pressure is borne by Dotel this year, although it remains to be seen how he'll stand up to that because the Astros haven't had that many situations for him.
No, they haven't. Marlon Anderson looks at ball 1. He doubled to left center in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. Lidge worked in one of the games in St. Louis in the 10-5 Houston win, working a hitless inning. It's 2-0. The Astros have had only one save situation this season. And Dotel has converted that against the Cardinals. Strike call makes it 2-1.
But the Astros, I think, have a disadvantage against the Cardinals in terms of team speed. I think they've got an advantage in terms of bullpen firepower.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The Cardinal closer, Jason Isringhausen, had a good night of it Tuesday night. He went an inning and 2/3. He's not working last night's game.
So he's ready to go. And of course, he's had much more experience closing out games than Octavio Dotel, but I think Dotel's got livelier stuff.
Time call. Mike Lincoln has had a long time to warm up in that third bullpen. Still 2-2. Lidge appeared 78 times last year.
A lot of injuries coming up through the minor leagues. He only averaged 40 innings a year, even though in many of those years he was a starting pitcher.
They had 28 holds last year. Fly ball left for Berkman. 2 outs.
Again, the advantage of having great stuff, a hanging slider, and he still doesn't catch up with it.
The strikeout numbers were tremendous. 97 strikeouts in 85 innings last year. And that's deceptive. The 1 save and 6 save opportunities, because a lot of times that guy who comes in the 7th or 8th will face the middle of the lineup, get a blown save, but his club might regroup to win the game.
Yeah, you're in that position where you don't get the save, and that's why a lot of guys would rather start or be the closer.
Langford looks at ball 1.
There's Dotel apprenticed under Wagner. Now you could say that Lidge is apprenticing under Dotel. They all had closer stuff.
Oh, good pitch. 96 miles per hour. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dotel getting loose in the bullpen.
Yeah, he's getting a little nervous time here as he's getting ready to have a chance to do what he's been wanting to do all season.
Foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
No thing better than that when you're pitching. A great thing is when you move a guy off the plate and the ball hits his bat, so you get a strike out of it too, in addition to pushing him back. Sometimes you really get lucky and the guy has to bail out and the ball hits his bat and he comes right back to you and you throw it to first for the out.
Two and two with Pujols on deck. So the middle of the lineup for both these clubs is due to come up here in either the 8th or the 9th. A strikeout of Langford makes it a 1-2-3-8 with 2 strikeouts for Lidge, and it remains 1-1. Houston won. Moving to the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's our higher standards replay, brought to you by Bank of America. That umpire, Andy Fletcher, had to make a tough call at third base on a single by Jeff Bagwell. Jim Edmonds with the throw. And remember, it was popping up on his slide, and there came the out call as Edmonds picked up his 2nd outfield assist.
See, Everett knew what happened. And so did Gene Lamont, because Gene was in a position to be able to see the play, and the umpire wasn't.
Now Colin Porter stays in the game in left field. He's batting ninth. Ray Langford leaves, and Mike Lincoln, the new pitcher, is in the number 2 slot in the order. Ball 1 to Jeff Bagwell, who had that single in the 6th inning to make it a 1-for-3 night. Lincoln has been an effective reliever through the early portion of the season. Renteria. 1 out for Mike Lincoln, former Pittsburgh Pirate, Minnesota Twin. He's appearing for the 9th time. He's 2-1 with a 4.35 ERA, but the Astros roughed him up in St. Louis.
Well, he throws pretty well. He's in the low 90s. He's got a good sharp breaking ball, but he doesn't have the kind of stuff Brad Lidge has.
He's given up runs in both of his outings against the Astros. The second one came in the Cardinals' 5-3 win Tuesday night of this series. Jeff Kent's 1 for 3. Ball 1 in the game in St. Louis. The Astros won 10-5. He was the loser, and he gave up 4 earned runs in an inning and a third.
Dotel is warming up in the bullpen now.
2 balls, no strikes.
And if the Astros start to mount a rally, he'll start to warm up a little more seriously. Right now, he probably just wants to get loose and be close to being ready, because if the Astros don't score, they could still send Lidge back out there.
Off the end of the bat, line to second. 2 outs.
Hey, Astro fans, visit Astros.com. It's the #1 site for live game pitch-by-pitch coverage and game day audio. That's Astros.com. Everything Astros. Even connection to how to get some souvenirs and stuff from the shed. Astros.com.
2 outs. Lance Berkman bats. He has a single and a walk and 3 trips.
Kind of nice having that internet. My daughter Ashley, who lives in London now, can follow the team a lot better with the internet than any other way.
Absolutely. Here's ball 1. The infield shift remains on with Renteria on the first base side of second. Well, tell Ashley that next year we're supposed to have a channel on the internet where she can get ball games 24 hours a day.
That's what they need.
Yep.
It'd be 3:20 in the morning there now.
That's not the most convenient time to watch baseball for most people.
Not when you're first getting up.
2-1. Although if you are suffering from insomnia, it is nice to know that there's a game on.
It'd be hard to fall asleep to this game, though.
Yes, it would be. The one last night, however, well, that might have induced a few slumbers. But the Astros came back at the end, 3 balls and a strike. They scored in the late innings last night. Had some good at bats, and that's what they're looking for here when it really counts. Pop back out of play. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Lance is off to a pretty good start, but he's not really hot. If he was swinging the bat really well now, he would have hit that pitch.
Yeah, he said before the game he feels pretty good at the plate. Not great, but decent anyway. Doesn't feel out of whack or anything that would be a problem. Fouls it back.
All year long, you go through cycles where you're swinging the bat well or not so well. Pitchers the same way. And the great players and pitchers are the ones that still do pretty well when they're not performing at their peak, and then do real well when they are.
Lincoln snaps off a curve and has a 1-2-3 8th inning. Pujols, Edmonds, and Rowland are due up in the 9th. It's 1-1. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by Jack Daniels, by Miller Beer, by your Texas Ford dealers, by Minute Maid, by Progressive Insurance Group, by Crown Royal, and by Bush. Here it is, the ninth inning. This game tied at 1. Brad Lidge at a 1-2-3 eighth. He stays in to face Pujols, Edmonds, and Rowland in the ninth. Pujols has a walk and a single in 3 trips, and in the 4th inning made a bid for an extra base hit. Richard Hidalgo ran it down in right field. Strike on the slider from Lidge at 89 miles per hour.
This is one of those situations where you don't really want to pitch to the guy, but you almost have to leading off the inning.
He pops it up, but it's out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Pujols 1 for 4 in his career against Brad Lidge. Coming up after the game, whenever that might be, is the Southwest Sports Report. Hidalgo, Lamb, and Ausmus are due up in the last of the ninth. And the third, Lamb to Bagwell.
The Pujols didn't get a hit, but he hit a pitch that most guys would have missed completely.
He just has incredible hand-eye coordination.
1 strikeout. I mean, he's been playing almost a month.
That is nuts. We know Barry Bonds has at least 3. Jim Edmonds is 0 for 3. Quite a game tonight. And the fact that Edmonds has not had a hit is unusual in a ball game he's playing in this ballpark.
He had a big hit in last night's game, but he hasn't hit quite as consistently in this series as he has in the past.
Strike 1. Lidge burned that one up there at 97. Edmonds hitting .278 against right-handers with 3 homers. Cardinals undefeated on the road at 5-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Astros need a win to get back to 500 at home at 5-5. Strike.
And look at the Astros outfield right now. And in some parts you say no doubles. With this configuration, you're probably saying no triples, but the whole strategy is if it lands in front of you for a single, that's okay.
Everett gets Edmonds. 2 outs, and it's Rowland batting.
The fastball in, didn't quite get around on it. Slider, managed to take it. Slider right down the middle, he took it. Then he hit one, a slider that was in a tough spot low and away, and he actually hit it pretty well, but Everett got it, threw him out. But you're going to play deep for these guys anyway, but they're really playing deep now.
Strike to Rowland.
But they are not, however, guarding the lines on the infield. Bagwell's probably closer than he would ordinarily be for a right-handed hitter, but that's because Lidge throws so hard. And lands off the line.
1-2. Cardinals have a right-hander warming up. Jason Isringhausen, their closer. And a strikeout. 6 straight retired by Lidge. That's his 3rd K. Now the bottom of the ninth. Hidalgo, Lamb, and Ausmus. It's 1-1. It's a 1-1 ball game. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Our X factor of the game is Craig Biggio in the 3rd inning. Jason Marquis, the Cardinal pitcher, almost got a hit in front of him in center field, and then there was nearly a collision as he went all the way down and rolled over to snag that Marquis fly ball, and then the RBI single in the 7th inning to right field. Play to the Astros run when Mike Lamb scored. And over Reggie Sanders' throw that tied it at 1. And that's where it is now as Richard Hidalgo leads it off in the bottom of the 9th inning. 0 for 3. Mike Lincoln in his 2nd inning of work. Strike for Lincoln. Isringhausen was throwing. Now he has ceased to throw in the Cardinal bullpen as Hidalgo tries to get it started. It's 0-2 very quickly for Lincoln. Hidalgo had a sacrifice fly in St. Louis off Mike Lincoln. Dotel is working in the Houston bullpen.
But he's not working very hard. If the Astros score here, he's not going to pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hidalgo sitting .529 from the 7th inning on.
You should be able to improve upon that.
Lincoln snaps off another curve. That's 4 straight for him. We get a preview of tonight's Southwest Sports Report from John and Randy. What do you have for us?
Well, guys, lots coming up on the show. Lots happening in Houston. Of course, the Shell Houston Open, and we will hear from Jeff Van Gundy. He is not happy after Game 2.
We'll get you ready for the NFL Draft. Texans on the clock at number 10. We'll give you the update after the game.
Look forward to all that. Here is Mike Lamb. He has scored the only Houston run after a walk. He's 0 for 2. The curve is looking dazzling for Lincoln tonight.
It's really been mesmerizing Lamb, too, because Marquise had success with the same pitch in the same location.
It's 0-2. With Osmus on deck. Just gets a small piece of it. Seeing that pitch over and over now.
I think he's got a good breaking pitch. It's probably his best pitch. He throws fairly hard. 90, 91, 92. If that breaking ball spinning right, it's really sharp.
And he comes with a fastball, and it's a strikeout on the field of Andy Fletcher. 3 strikeouts in a row. He's matching Lidge out for out here in the late innings. Brad Osmus would try to break that up. It's his first plate appearance of the night. At 3:08 for 52 at bats. He has 1 homer and 4 runs batted in.
Well, now the Astros are going to have to pinch hit if Osmus reaches.
Palmero's in the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot due up next. Brad Osmus. 2 hits in this series. No balls and 2 strikes. Setup guys are looking very sharp for both these clubs. Edmonds over in right center. And goes foul 3rd base side. If it goes to the 10th, Renteria, Sanders, and Matheny are due up for St. Louis.
And now Dotel has cranked it up a little bit more because if Osmus gets on, then Dotel's in the game if the Astros don't score.
Osmus still fighting. Still at 0-2, but fouled off another one. From Citrus Heights, California, went to the University of Tennessee. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A freak accident in spring training last year. He fell when he stepped on a golf ball while jogging on a baseball field. That put him on the 60-day disabled list. He's bounced back very nicely this season. And he strikes out Ausmus to give him 4 Ks on the card and send this game to extra innings, tied at 1. Extra innings for the first time for both of these clubs. The top of the 10th is coming. It's a 1-1 game. Total of 10 hits, 6 of them going Houston's way. Morgan Ensberg enters the game at third base. It's a double switch. He's batting 9th. He'll be leading it off in the bottom of the 10th. Mike Lamb leaving the game. In his number 7 spot goes the Astros closer, Octavio Dotel. Larry.
Dotel is on the hot seat in this game and will be throughout the season, more than likely. Pitched an inning last night. Didn't give up any runs. The last hitter, he finally got that ball to riding and sailing, which is the thing I haven't seen so far this year. But when he starts doing that, he's about as tough to hit as any pitcher in the league.
Edgar Renteria leads it off. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. He gets a first pitch slider for ball 1. Brad Lidge retired 6 in a row. 3 via strikeouts. Ensberg's in on the grass at third. Strike makes it 1-1 on Renteria. Dotel made pretty quick work of his 1 hitless inning last night, throwing 10 pitches, 9 of them for strikes. Blisters that one over the outside corner at 94, and it's ball 2 strikes.
With him, it's partly velocity, but a lot of it's movement. That pitch, when he's thrown the last 2, the hitters will almost always swing under it. When you see it starting to tail back toward the right-handed hitter, that's when they get a better swing.
A cracked bat roller. Jeff Kent to Jeff Bagwell. 1 out.
Well, Kent was really poised in playing that ball, because with Renteria running, obviously when the ball's not hit well, you realize that there's a chance he could beat it out, but you got to catch the ball first. And you know, he was able to assume that he could throw him out and concentrate on catching the ground ball, and he had just enough time to get him.
Reggie Sanders is 0 for 3. Strike 1 to Sanders. Quite a ball game tonight. Who's going to break this scoring drought, which has extended from the 4th inning for St. Louis? The Astros broke it in the 7th inning, but they haven't had a base runner since the Biggio RBI single.
The thing you keep thinking about is that call at third base. It wasn't a call at the plate, so you're not sure you could have scored anyway, because what's going to happen after that? What did happen was a base hit, but the pitcher might not have pitched the same way if the runner would have been called safe at third. That was Everett.
Bagwell goes for this one, flipping to Dotel. Good lead toss.
He's always been good at that. He throws the ball far enough out in front of the pitcher that the pitcher has to run to go get it. And the hard play to make as a pitcher is when the guy throws the ball back behind you, and you have to take your eye away from what you're trying to get to, the base, in order to catch the throw. But as long as the first baseman leads you, it's pretty easy.
And sometimes the first baseman will put too much air underneath that toss. He got it to him quickly so Dotel could catch it and then go for the bag.
That's really important too. It's tough when you're not exactly sure where the bag is, because you're trying to catch the ball at the same time that your foot lands.
Mike Matheny fouls it for strike 1. He's 0 for 3. The Astros last year were 3 and 8 in extra inning games.
The Cardinals have a slight advantage here because Isring hasn't pitched yet.
0-2.
There's that ball that rides for him. The guy's going to hit that pitch. But they've got Lincoln in the 2 spot in the batting order, so he could conceivably pitch another inning. And he's really been throwing well.
Colin Porter on deck. Fly ball left center field. Berkman giving chase. Extra bases for Matheny. It bounces high off the wall, and he has a double. On the 0-2 pitch. Didn't look like he got that much of the barrel of the bat on the ball, but he doubles for the 5th time.
Yeah, well, Lance might have been playing a little shallow, but I thought it was a ball that could be caught when he hit it. But that's that ball that tails back in toward the hitter. That's the one they hit.
And he certainly did, getting himself into scoring position for Porter. Ausmus out to talk it over with Dotel. Marlon Anderson's on deck. Porter struck out in the 8th inning against Lidge.
Yeah, the Astros had retired 14 straight hitters until that base hit by Matheny.
Strike.
The Astros don't have the arms in center and left that the Cardinals have. Of course, they have the best arm of all in right now. Matheny doesn't run that well. So if Porter got a base hit to right, they might have a play at the plate. But if they get a base hit, if he gets a base hit to left and it's right at Lance, they'll have a shot at it too, because Lance is a lot closer to home plate in his fielding position than Hidalgo is.
Foul away, and 30-year-old Octavio Dotel is ahead in the count, 1-2. Left-handed hitters hit 172 against Octavio last year. Crowd buzzing for the right-hander from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. This is where he wanted to be, in that closer role, and this year he gets a chance. And it's strike 3. No runs a hit. A runner stranded at second base. The crowd is up with the Astros coming up in the bottom of the 10th. The game tied at 1.
We are still tied at 1-1 as the action goes to the bottom of the 10th. Something big coming up on Monday, May 10th. Get ready for the next great thing in sports entertainment as Max Kellerman comes to Fox Sports Net. Max won't pull any punches as he goes toe-to-toe with the biggest names in sports 5 nights a week. It's the premiere of IMAX. Monday, May 10th, only on Fox Sports Net.
Thank you, Greg. We have another double switch coming now, and the St. Louis Cardinals have brought in a new left fielder, So Taguchi. He will be in the 2nd spot in the lineup. Pitcher Lincoln was in that position, and now the new pitcher, Jason Isringhausen, will bat 9th. He is the Cardinal closer. He has a 2-for-2 save start to the season, but now in a tie ball game, Larry.
Well, he's given up some runs. He's 4.70 ERA. Earned run averages can be very deceptive for relief pitchers because they don't pitch very many innings. You could have 5 or 6 great outings and 1 bad one and have a high ERA.
Morgan Ensberg leads it off in the home 10th inning. Broken bat. Back to Isringhausen. 1 pitch, 1 out. Mike Lincoln did a sensational job, retiring 6 in a row, striking out the last 4. Greg Biggio has one of the 6 Houston hits. They've all been singles tonight. And the Astros, who came into this game with the 2nd best on-base average in the majors, have struggled to put runners on.
The Cardinals have pitched pretty well. The Astros, generally speaking, are a patient hitting team, and they draw a lot of walks, but the Cardinals haven't issued that many in this series.
Ball 1 from Isringhausen with Adam Everett on deck. Isringhausen got the save Tuesday, his 2nd of the year, working an inning and 2/3. Rolling. takes care of the second out. A year ago, Isringhausen began the season on the disabled list. He wound up with 22 saves and 25 opportunities and a 2.36 ERA. Strikeouts and 18 walks for the 31-year-old veteran, who relies often on a cut fastball.
That's what he got both the hitters out in this inning on. And there it is again. He got that straight overhand position, so when he cuts it, it's got a little bit of downward movement as well as sideways.
He came in with the man on base in the 8th inning and closed that game Tuesday night. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That was the curveball. That was his signature pitch when he first came up with the Mets. He came up with some arm trouble, and he's evolved into a little bit different kind of pitcher over the years. Certainly a lot different now, being a closer than a starter. Good years for Oakland.
He really did. 2 balls and a strike. He was traded to the A's in '99, had 33 saves for them in 2000 when he was an All-Star, and then 34 and 32 the next 2 years. And he had surgery after that 2002 season. That bat splintered. Splinter went flying out toward third base. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The cutter is a tough pitch for the hitters to deal with because it basically has backspin, the same as a four-seam fastball would, but the axis is tilted just a little bit, so it's not like a slider that spins like a spiral. It's a pitch that's harder to read.
He's come a long way since he was drafted in the 46th round by the Mets in '91. And he wears the number 44 in honor of his former high school teammate, Sean Watson. The Mets kept scouting Watson and signed him, but he had arm problems, and that's when they discovered Isringhausen scouting Watson. Second base up. Anderson. And we move to the 11th inning. It's still tied at 1.
We are still even at 1-1 as we go to the 11th. Tonight on the Southwest Sports Report, following our game, you'll see highlights from round 1 of the Shell Houston Open, where North Texas's Rod Pampling is the leader. We hope they aren't into round 2 by the time we see the show. The Supreme Court will rule against Maurice Corrett and the underclassmen. Wrap up of tonight's game and more after our game here on Fox Sports Net.
Still waiting for that as we go to inning number 11. Octavio Dotel against Marlon Anderson, the leadoff man, who has a double and 4 trips. So Taguchi's on deck. That's ball 1. And due up third in the inning, Albert Pujols.
Him again.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Bouncer deflected and on into right center field. Biggio hustles to it. Here's a play at second. Safe. Adam Everett took the throw. Anderson came off the bag, but he hustled it into a double.
It's really hard to tell from here whether Everett was able to put a glove on him while he was off the bag. See what kind of position the umpire has this time. Well, he never came off the bag.
No, he didn't. Looked like he did, but he kept his foot on. He kept that toe on the bag. Second base umpire Gary Cederstrom coming around. Now Tony Womack is the pinch hitter for Taguchi. Astros expect him to bunt. Pujols on deck. Womack at .360 has 1 homer and 4 runs batted in. He bunts.
He gives him some versatility too, because he played the outfield in Arizona. So Marlon Anderson, who was the second baseman, has played the outfield some for the Cardinals this year, and now is playing second because Womack has had a slight leg problem. And now Womack who has been playing second base, could go in the outfield.
Bagwell's hit on the grass. Womack showing bunt, and he takes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Womack was in the starting lineup last night, and we got word about half an hour or so before game time that Cardinals had made a change to Marlon Anderson leading off and playing second. He had 2 hits and an RBI in the opener Tuesday night. Right elbow problems from what we heard. Bunted. Ensberg going to Kent. And the sacrifice gets the runner over to third base. Anderson with 1 out.
I don't think Pujols will get a chance to hit here.
And then it would be Edmonds, and then it would be Roland. Pujols will get the intentional walk. So that would set up a potential double play with Jim Edmonds the batter.
He's hit into one already in this game.
Edmonds would be the man with runners at first and third. And he has hit the ball on the ground 3 times, including that double play in the 6th inning, and an 0 for 4 night. By the way, Anderson is dancing off third base. He might have been expecting Dotel to uncork one on that intentional walk.
The way he was throwing those pitches, it almost looked like he was afraid he would uncork one. Uh-oh.
Edmonds 5 for 7 with 2 home runs against Dotel.
You want to make sure that you know what you're going to try to do here, and that's why Bert Hooton is out there.
And he also has drawn 7 walks against Dotel. Scott Rowland's on deck. In the 11th inning of a 1-1 game, the Cardinals scored in the 4th on a Rowland double. The Astros countered in the 7th with a Biggio single. Moss must give signs to the infielders on coverage here with 1 down in this situation. Anderson, the base runner at third, has pretty good speed.
But they might play the shortstop and second baseman a little closer in the event of a chopper to maybe have a play at the plate, but it's double play or nothing the way they're playing.
Strike to Edmonds. Edmonds had not grounded into a double play this season until tonight.
Well, all the numbers don't add up from an Astros perspective in this confrontation. Oh, boy, he got away with one there.
Yes, he did.
That's what we're calling for that breaking ball inside. Dotel threw it right over the middle of the plate. When you're facing a tough pitcher and you miss that pitch, you really want to kick yourself because you are afraid you're not going to get any better opportunity than that.
Edmonds got the bat through to foul it and keep the count at no balls and 2 strikes. 96 miles per hour. He's faced Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan in his career, and really appreciates that competition against the very best in the game. Talked about that after he faced Clemens in St. Louis. He said it's not fun, but at the end of the day when you go home, competition level is something to cherish for the rest of your career. 1-2. Edmonds with a .367 career batting average in this ballpark. Behind in the count. Biggio's in left center. He just got a piece. Dotel struck out 97 last year in 87 innings.
He would get into chase one if he threw it just a little bit higher. Edmonds will do that sometimes.
Slider. Oh, a check swing call by Andy Fletcher.
Yeah, he checked his swing, but the pitch was a strike.
Yeah, it was right in the middle of the strike zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's see this.
Oh.
Dotel wanted a called strike, and it's 2-2.
Can you blame him?
No, sir. He struck him out. 2 outs.
Well, that's big. Now you don't have to pitch or challenge Roland. Good fastball. Edmonds thought that was a ball, and it might have been. Trying to stay in with the fastball. Now this is the one that looked like a called strike. And that one a little slower was a swinging strike. Edmonds probably didn't think he could get a break. No, we're going to intentionally walk Roland and load the bases here.
Interesting, with runners at first and third, the intentional walk. This is something you don't see all that often. Renteria will be the batter.
Well, Roland has hit Dotel almost as well as Edmonds. And Renteria is 2 for 16 off it. So Renteria is in a position, though, where Dotel has to throw strikes. You can't afford to walk anybody with the bases loaded.
In the series in St. Louis, Dotel gave up back-to-back homers to Edmonds and Roland a week ago Tuesday, but he got the save, and 5-3 Astros win.
That pitch might have missed the strike zone by a wider margin than any I've ever seen. Oh, except one.
Yeah?
Except one.
Which one?
Doug Graybeck threw a pitch. I can't remember if it was Cincinnati or Pittsburgh, but he threw a pitch when he was with the Astros that slipped out of his hand and it went up in the stands. It went right over the on-deck surface.
Bases loaded for Renteria. 0 for 3 with a walk tonight.
This guy had 100 RBIs last year. It shows you the quality of their lineup when you're walking somebody to get to another guy that had 100 RBIs.
Strike.
And now, earlier in the game, the hitters were taking that without beefing about it. But now that it's down to the short strokes, every single pitch that they think is called wrong gets a great reaction.
Great crowd tonight. 0-2.
Let's see if that pitch is on the corner. The other pitch that they tried to appeal, it was the same height, and it was at least 2 or 3 inches more back toward the plate.
So close. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You wonder how he held up and didn't swing at it after those first 2 calls. A great pitch by Dotel. 90% of the time after 2 called strikes out there, the hitter would swing at that pitch.
To right field, Hidalgo. And the intentional walks paid off. It's no runs, 1 hit, 3 men stranded in the middle of the 11th. It's tied at 1. St. Louis 1, Houston 1 in the middle of the 11th inning. The Cardinals make 2 more changes. Marlon Anderson, who's been playing second base, is now in left field. And the new second sacker is Bo Hart, batting in the number 2 spot in the lineup.
Fred, I got the injury wrong on Womack. It wasn't a leg injury, it's an elbow injury in the throwing arm. That's why he was able to pinch hit but is unable to play in the field.
So now it's Jason Isringhausen against Bagwell, Kent, and Berkman in the bottom of the 11th. Bagwell 1 for 4. It's ball 1.
The Astros haven't had a walk-off homer since the first homestand of last year, and that home run was hit by Jeff Kent, who is on deck right now.
Bagwell fouls it. 1-1. Bagwell homered off Isringhausen in St. Louis earlier this season. He's 5 for 11 against him in his career, including that homer. That was only the 3rd homer allowed by Isringhausen in 3 years. Bagwell started to go, and he did on appeal to the first base umpire, Jim Reynolds.
What gets me is you can tell what the base umpire is going to do most of the time by the way the home plate umpire asks for the appeal. If he does it aggressively, the base umpire calls it a strike every time.
Isringhausen at a 1-2-3 10th. Broken bat. He's done that twice.
Yeah, that cutter, it just, it goes from the meat of the bat down to the end of the bat. Very effective pitch, and it's a pitch that the hitters talk about more than any other pitch. He's got a cutter. Oh boy, in trouble now.
There's the walk-off homer. Jeff Kent off Matt Morris last April. Kent's 1 for 4 tonight.
See if lightning can strike again here. You throw that cutter on the inside corner and have it cut over to the middle of the plate, it could happen.
Strike. The Astros haven't had a base runner since Biggio tied the game with a single in the 7th inning. 10 straight retired by Cardinal relievers Mike Lincoln and Jason Isringhausen. Astros have stranded 8. Cardinals have left 1. That's not right. Cardinals have left 8 now. Astros have left 7. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There wasn't a whole lot of offense in the early part of this game. Well, Oswald and Marquis really pitched well.
They really did.
There hasn't been too much offense since they left either. A few more base runners, but no more runs.
One of those tough nights at Minute Maid Park. A 1-1 game in the 11th. It's 2-2 now.
Yeah, that was the one to hit. Started it in a little bit and kind of cut just a little bit over the inside half of the plate. And upstairs a little.
Isringhausen has had a series of injuries. He missed all of '98. Reconstructive right elbow surgery. Surgery after 2002 for a tear in the labrum. Foul back. He had earlier had that same surgery in '96. Bone chips taken out of his elbow. He was mostly a center fielder at Lewis and Clark College. Cardinals signed him to a 4-year contract as a free agent after the 2001 season. Now Kent has worked the count full. Jeff, a .278 career hitter against the Redbirds with 16 long balls. Popped up. Roland sprints in. Pujols rolling. 2 outs. And it's Berkman.
The Astros haven't been able to get the ball out of the infield against Isringhausen.
Berkman singled in the second inning off Marquis and walked in the fifth. He's 1 for 3.
Well, they didn't get the ball out of the infield against Lincoln either. They haven't had the ball out of the infield in 4 innings.
A taxing night for the bullpens. The relievers have been unbelievable tonight. Ball 1 to Berkman. Dan Maselli in the Astros bullpen warming up. Infield shift continues to be on for Berkman. It's 1-1.
You know, there may be a time in the game leading off an inning where Lance would think about going the other way just to get on base, but right now with 2 outs in the inning, he's not worried about that shift. He's going to try to hit it over him.
A ball and 2 strikes. Cardinal bullpen had a 5.87 ERA coming into this game. Foul ball, and Matheny wanted to end the inning right there by hanging on to that foul tip.
That's a pretty good pitch to hit, too.
Strike 3 call. And we move on to the 12th inning with the game still tied at 1.
As the action moves to the 12th, we're still tied at 1-1. Don't forget, while the Astros do leave town after this game for a short road trip, 6 games, they'll be back on April 30th through May 3rd to take the Central Division rival Cincinnati Reds. And on Saturday night at 6:05, all fans in attendance will receive a free Astros cap courtesy of Fox Sports Net. Great tickets still available for the entire series, so call 1-877-9-ASTROS or log on to Astros.com and root for the good guys. They could probably use a little rooting right now with this game still tied and still going, huh, guys?
Absolutely. Orlando Palmeiro is the new left fielder. Lance Berkman made the final out in the 11th inning. He leaves the game, and Dan Maselli, the new pitcher, goes into that number 5 spot in the lineup.
Well, the Astros have no more position players on the bench.
Maselli brings an ERA of 1.00 for 9 innings into this one, as the 12th inning gets underway.
Isringhausen is the 3rd hitter scheduled in this inning. I don't think they would pitch him more than 2 innings anyway, though. So
Al Eldred warming up in the pen now for St. Louis. Is Sanders, who's 0 for 4 bats. Dotel in 2 innings allowed 2 hits, no runs. That was rolled foul. There's strike 1. Octavio had 2 intentional walks, and he had 2 strikeouts.
Give up a couple of hits. Good outing.
Well, the intentional walks really proved to be a key in that 11th inning. And meanwhile, the Cardinal relievers sail right along. Sanders, a 94-mile-per-hour heater, goes to 0-2 in the count.
The Astros have got some power in the bullpen. Maselli can throw 94. Harville can throw 95. I think this evening runs at 96. Lidge a little harder than that. Dotel.
Roller to third. Tough play here, but it's a foul ball. Home plate umpire makes that call until the ball gets to third base. Tim Welke threw up his hands. Foul ball.
Ensberg wants it to be a foul ball because he knows that Sanders is fast enough to beat that out. And it was just barely foul. I don't think he could have thrown him out.
Didn't look that way. Sanders comes back with an 0-2 count, and Maselli has pitched 6 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings over his last 6 outings. That covered a couple of games in St. Louis, with a total of 3 scoreless innings in those 2 games, and this is his second appearance of this series. He worked 1 inning Tuesday night, giving up 1 hit, no runs. 24 pitches in that game. Sanders hangs in at no balls and 2 strikes. Maselli's been rough on him. Reggie 1 for 13 in his career with 7 strikeouts against Dan. The Astros bullpen, a valuable part of the club last year. Coming in for yeoman's work in a game like this. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A 4.14 ERA for the Astros relievers when this game started. And they've done an outstanding job of inherited runners. They've inherited 19 and allowed just 2 to score. Well, Roger Clemens could pinch hit.
Wade Miller.
Rolls out to Kent's left. And there's the toss. Safe is the call at first base. Jim Reynolds with a safe sign on the slow roller. Sanders hustling all the way. Beat that throw without any argument from the Astros.
Well, the scoop throw was just a little too soft. I think that was a good call, although there have been an awful lot of close calls in this game, and none of them have gone to the home team.
Well, Sanders hustled all the way, and that's hit number 7 for the Redbirds. He's tying his shoes, whether it's for a steal attempt or not. Wouldn't be too surprising. Matheny's the batter.
Maselli's really slow to the plate.
And Sanders, an accomplished base stealer, so all those things put together indicate we would expect a stolen base attempt. Matheny doubled in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 4.
Except he might bunt. They just might want to not take a chance on the steal.
Throw goes to first. Pitcher's spot due up next. Hector Luna is on deck. Ensberg in on the grass. A bunt is foul. Strike 1 on Matheny. Matheny has grounded into 2 double plays this season. Has 1 sacrifice bunt. Late inning offense. How to get a runner across. The Cardinals stranded 3 in the 11th. Brad Ausmus talked on the interview with Greg Lucas on the pregame show about his throwing. He said he's really not concerned about his throwing. Throw goes to first, as Greg indicated. The pitcher's time to home plate, a key component of trying to throw out base runners. Greg.
Yeah, he admitted that on that pitch out the other day, he blew that one. But generally speaking, he says by the time the year's over, he'll be right around 30-31%.
Runner going, pitch out. The throw in the dirt trickles on through into center field, and Sanders is going to third. A stolen base and an error on Ausmus gets Sanders to third base.
I think he had a shot at it. You know, the perfect throw would have had it.
Now the infielders are in tight with a 1-1 count on Matheny. Sanders is 5 for 5 in steals this season. The Cardinals are 8 for 9 in steals in the games with Houston. They lead the majors with 19 stolen bases now. Selly wants Ausmus to come out.
What do you think of everything that's come before this in this game, trying to get a run? And you look at the situation now with a runner on third who got on first on a check swing infield hit. Gold second, went to third on an error. And now with the infield pulled in, Matheny could get that run in with just a weak little bloop over the infield. Sometimes it seems like it's easy to get a run, and sometimes it seems near impossible.
Yeah. It's 1-2.
You've got a guy that's a good enough bunter prior to 2 strikes. You might try to squeeze, but I don't think they would try to do that now. And of course, the Astros still have their chance to come to the plate again.
And a swing and a miss. It's a strikeout for Maselli. 1 out.
Come up with that forkball, and it's really a good compliment for his fastball. Seems it. Where'd that go? Oh.
The pinch hitter is rookie Hector Luna, 24 years old. The Cardinals took him in the Rule 5 draft in December from Cleveland. He played at Double-A Akron last year. He hit a home run in his first big league at bat.
It's not often that a guy is taken in the Rule 5 by a contending team and not sent back.
Ball 1 to Luna.
You don't feel like you have a spot left to develop a player. A lot of times the teams that are down in the standings and are rebuilding will take the Rule 5 guys, leave them on and let them play some.
2 balls, no strikes. Luna 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter, with Sanders at third base. And he's 2 for 11 overall, including that home run in his first at bat. He's studying the signs from the coach Jose Oquendo. LaRussa try a squeeze bunt.
Could. I mean, this was throw a strike count.
Line drive, hooks foul. 2-1.
Had a looping swing at that split and got it on a line, but if I was pitching, that would tell me that maybe the four-seamer upstairs he would swing under.
Luna hit his first major league homer on the second pitch he saw. Squeeze. He gets it down, and Maselli's throw gets the out, but the Cardinals have a 2-1 lead. Luna puts down a squeeze bunt, gets credit for a sacrifice and the RBI here.
Got it down. Good job. There's no defense against it if the timing is right. So Sanders is across the plate about the same time Maselli picks up the ball. At least he didn't try the desperation play at home. It's still just a 1-run lead, and the Astros still have another shot at him.
Marlon Anderson's the batter. Bo Hart on deck. He rolls it, and it's a fair ball. Ensberg with the throw to Bagwell. And the Cardinals squeeze home a run. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. Middle of the 12th inning, 2-1 St. Louis. St. Louis 2, Houston 1, bottom of the 12th coming. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Houston Astros and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Houston Astros. The Cardinals squeeze home a run after an infield hit, a steal, and an error. And now they try to take it to the bank and sweep the series, but the Astros fans have their hopes as big right-hander Cal Eldred comes in for the bottom of the 12th, Larry.
Well, I think Eldred is a guy that they would rather hit against than anyone else has been in the game so far. And that doesn't always mean you can make it happen in the inning that you're given. And Hidalgo, of course, is one of the Astros' best hitters. But after Richard, you got Palmeiro, Osmus, and Ensberg. So this is not the part of the order they'd like to have coming up here. This it wasn't the part of the order the Cardinals wanted coming up either, and they got a run out of it.
Hidalgo fouls it for strike one. Richard 0 for 4 in tonight's game. Isringhausen had a couple of hitless innings without a walk and 1 strikeout. 13 straight retired by the Cardinal hurlers. One ball, 1 strike to Richard Hidalgo. Eldred's appearing for the 4th time already against the Astros this season, and he has surrendered runs in each of the previous 3 outings. A total of 5 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings.
Richards hit a couple of home runs off him.
For a time last year, the 35-year-old right-hander was the Cardinal closer. He had 8 saves. He appeared in 62 games with 7 wins and a 3.74 ERA. Reach back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
His ERA against the Astros isn't so good this year in just a couple of games. Well, that doesn't really matter. This is the only game that matters to him and to the Astros right now.
Foul back. Last night in 1 inning, he allowed 2 hits and a run.
A lot different situation, though. Last night he was just pitching a garbage inning because they were so far ahead. This inning is very important.
It's 3-2. Cardinal bullpen has 2 saves in 4 opportunities this season. And it remains a full count on Richard Hidalgo. The Astros do not have an extra base hit. 6 singles in the game. Cardinals have 7 hits, 4 of those doubles. 5 doubles. Into center field. Hidalgo snaps the streak of 13 straight Astros retired by Cardinal pitching.
Interesting situation here. Sometimes you say you play for a tie at home because you always have the last at bat and try to win on the road. If Palmeiro were bunting, they'd be basically playing the tie of the game. If he's swinging away, then they're being a little more aggressive and hoping to get a couple of runs.
Tony La Russa wants lefty on lefty. He's going to his bullpen. It's 2-1 Redbirds in the 12th. Back in a moment. St. Louis 2, Houston 1 in the bottom of the 12th inning, and now it's lefty on lefty as Steve Klein comes in from the Cardinal bullpen to face Orlando Palmeiro, the former Cardinal. He has an ERA of 1.80 for 5 innings. Hasn't walked anybody with 2 strikeouts, no home runs allowed. And in already for the 9th time in the young season there.
And he's a workhorse. He's pitched in a lot of games year after year. Seems to hold up well. I think he's maybe a step below the guys that close games in this league, but he's not too far behind.
Palmeiro has had 1 at bat this season against the left-handed pitcher. 0 for 1.
He'll probably bunt here now that they've got this thing left on left.
Cardinals are looking for a bunt with Rolen in tight. Palmeiro takes a strike. Left-handed hitters 1 for 6 against Klein this season. He's making his 3rd outing against the Astros. Came in with a couple of men on base Tuesday night and gave up an RBI double to Lance Berkman. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Rolen really coming in hard. I wonder if Palmeiro might try to shoot one by him if he got the right pitch.
Throw goes to first. You saw excellent numbers for Klein in his career against the Astros. He came in one of the games in St. Louis with the bases loaded and retired Jose Vizcaíno, the only man he faced, and then the only man he faced Tuesday night was Berkman. He stranded 4 of 6 inherited runners. Palmeiro bunts foul. The count going to 1-2.
You can see what the effect there was of Roland charging in at him, because Pujols has to hold the runner at first, and he knows that he doesn't have to put down quite as good a bunt if he bunts it on the first base side that he would if he bunted it on the third base side.
He's a good bunter. Doesn't have a sacrifice yet this year.
And he might be swinging away now.
Strike 3 call.
That backdoor breaking ball, the same spot he's been calling all night. This Palmeiro hasn't been playing all night, so he hasn't seen that yet. Being he's set up outside, he throws it inside by mistake and turns out to be a great pitch.
Now La Russa springs out of the dugout again with a right-hander warming up in the bullpen. So Klein apparently has accomplished his mission. He gives up the baseball, and pitcher number 6 will be on the way to the mound. As the Cardinals try to nail it down 2-1, we get a preview of tonight's Southwest Sports Report from John and Randy. What do you have for us?
All right, Bill and Larry, appreciate it. When this game ends from Minute Maid, we're all over the draft this weekend. Our insider talks about what the Texans may do with that 10th pick on Saturday. You know what John Daly does on the golf course. We will show you some of the things John Daly does off the course, and the pride of Willow Ridge High, TJ Ford. We've got news on him regarding his future in the NBA. It's all coming up after the game. For now, it's back to you, Brownie and Larry Dirk.
Thank you very much, guys. Long night for you. We appreciate your hanging in there. Julian Tavares comes out of the Cardinal bullpen.
Let's hope he pitches like he did last night.
He was very shaky in that game last night. In 1/3 of an inning, he gave up 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 of them earned. Walked 2, the first 2 men he faced, and he had 1 strikeout. He worked a portion of the 8th inning in last night's game.
I don't think Tony really wanted to pitch him in this situation, but at the same time, sometimes it's a good idea to get a guy right back out there after he has a bad outing so he can redeem himself, and that's one of the things that relief pitchers talk about, is that when you don't have such a good outing, you usually get back out there fairly soon and try it again.
Well, Tavares will do exactly that. Brad Ausmus will be the batter. Morgan Ensberg on deck with 1 out here in the 12th inning. Tavares, when he's throwing well, can get a lot of double play balls.
He's got a good sinker. Goes pretty hard.
Last year with Pittsburgh, he pitched 64 times, winning 3, losing 3, and he had 11 saves and 9 holds last year with that Pirate bullpen.
The Cardinals gave him a lot of money. 2-year contract.
Yeah, about $4.5 million. So they are committed to this 30-year-old right-hander from the Dominican Republic who worked 83 innings a year ago. This will be the Astros' 4th look at him this year. In his career, he's 3-4 against Houston with a 5.21 ERA. Craig Biggio with the 3-run double off him in St. Louis. And last night, Jeff Kent had a hit.
The Astros are hoping to get to Biggio in this inning. Somebody else would have to get on.
Line foul by Ausmus. Brad had a big hit in an extra inning game in St. Louis last April.
Got that hanging slider to hit. He just pulled the trigger a little too soon.
Had a game-winning RBI in the 9th inning in St. Louis last April. Renteria steps on second, throws to first, and the Cardinals sweep the series in Houston for the first time since 1996. They go to 9-7, while the Astros now have that same record. St. Louis Cardinals seem to be on a roll right now. They return the favor after being swept by the Astros in a 3-game series last week in St. Louis. Cardinals win this one in the 12th, 2-1. We'll be back with more from the ballpark in just a moment. First to the studio for the Southwest Sports Report.